That took no time at all.
Let's see if it really happened.
One likes that idea. Fine. Are we quite there yet?
Hello, and welcome to the Velveteen Lounge. Wait a minute. It's still going live.
Let's go in. Said we were live. We're not live. Well, we might be live here. I don't know. We're refreshing.
Let's see.
Well,
there we are.
Yeah, how about that?
We're on Facebook. Hi. There we are. We're on YouTube, too.
There we are.
Hello, everyone. Oh, hi, Eric. You're the first one here.
Excellent.
Hello. Welcome.
I had this inquisitive look on my face.
I feel like I can't get rid of saying, are we actually live? Because it's just become part of our shtick. But,
Hashtag.
hello. Welcome.
Hey, awesome. Well, you know what it is? We've had so many various and sundry disruptions.
Hi, satellite.
To signal that it's sort of like you want to make sure that things are
I know.
really doing.
Hi,
what you're
David.
thinking. That's what you want to make sure of. So that's that thing.
Oh, here it says, and I didn't even eat yet.
Well,
if you're going to drink something, I recommend
recommend-
eating, but do you?
Line the stomach,
Do
you know,
you?
that's always a good idea. A little snack anyway.
Yay. I
you
love
know?
that we can see everyone's comments all in the same place. It
Isn't that
makes me
kind of
so
fun
happy.
for once for new?
Hi, Julie, and happy Groundhog's Day Eve to you. Yes. Groundhog Day. I keep saying Groundhog's Day. Groundhog Day.
That's actually, that's kind of
Hi,
fun
Gettysburg,
to say that
ma'am.
5 times fast. Yeah.
Yay.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
Oh, I will have my lasagna soon. Well,
Okay. Well.
go for it.
Well, yeah, please. You know, whenever
Hi, Bill.
you feel that urge, I say, fill that craw.
Yep. Bright red. Exactly.
Ooh, yeah, it's actually, the color is quite nice tonight. I'm telling you, the new format.
I know.
And this is picking it up.
I'm happy with it. Yes.
Yeah.
This isn't even. This is just our webcam.
Yeah.
This is just our crappy web. Well,
Well,
it's not crappy,
not a
but
crappy
it's our webcam.
It's a nice webcam.
It's not a fancy camera. So.
However,
Hi, Mom.
it's no $500 webcam, and it
Happy
is
Wednesday.
basically like if you go to one of your online purveyors and say, "Oh, I'd like a webcam." This is what top model that gets recommended. So yeah, sure, it's a Logitech.
Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
I'm so
again.
happy that I don't have to toggle anymore. Yes.
Back and forth and
I'm
back and
still
forth.
so
back
happy
and
with
forth.
this. Yay.
Boom. No, here we are.
Oh, thank
It's
you,
awesome.
David.
Good picture.
Yeah,
yes.
I think it's better than last week. I don't know what happened. but-
Sometimes the lighting just nails it, and certainly after the very first time we tried this, where we were stuck on like middling resolution, it's like now we're up at like 720, and so it's actually looking nice. We would very much go straight up to a good 1080 resolution, but we'd have to pay. So we're like, well, maybe this is good enough. Yeah, this is
Hi,
okay.
Errol.
Yep. And as long as you're hearing us correctly, too, we have a different microphone setup to overcome any issues we may have had last time around. Last time around, I think it was good. But right now, we got a mic directly over us. Hello, microphone.
I know. It's a different
So-
mic than last week. So,
it should be picking us up nicely. This is something that I think we got as a promo type device.
we
and
did. It was
haven't
free.
really used it that much, so I'm really glad to put it into service.
I've used it.
And,
I've used it.
You have used it? For
Yeah,
like-
I've used
like,
it on like
webcasts
auditions.
and things.
Zooms. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
It's actually a really
You know
cool,
how it
it's a
is.
compact little thing that's a complete takeoff of a Rode microphone, which I think is called the Video Micro. And we use a fair amount of Rode products in our productions. We have a wireless, which is excellent, and we have a wired, which we use all the time, constantly. It's really,
thank you.
really nice stuff, and they hit the price point. Their
Thank
stuff is
you,
not
everyone.
cheap, but their stuff is not top dollar either, so that's kind of great. So, yeah, excellent. I'm glad.
Well, not top dollar
Glad you
is
can-
good for us,
Not
right?
top dollar is good for us. And like anybody else out there who's just like, yeah, I was always thinking about doing a podcast or a video cast, something like that. It's good that you don't have to like go out and drop $50,000 on equipment. That's craziness. You used to have to spend so much on this.
No, you know what makes me laugh though is the store Five Below. Do you have the store Five Below?
Yeah.
I remember being in there one time and they had like, I forget what they were calling it, but it was like an influencer kit or something.
Yeah.
And it had like this cheapo ring light and mic and stuff, but the whole thing was like $10
Yeah.
for everything in the kit. I was like,
Really?
okay, well,
We
hi,
actually,
Dime. Good to see you.
I think with one of these kits, we did get like a little light which was actually pretty decent.
Yeah,
If it was really close, if your whole setup was like right here, then that would have worked just fine. For our purposes, our camera is back there, about maybe got to be about good 3 feet from us. So that requires a more full-size Robusto ring light. And we also have two different colors on that ring light too, so it balances out.
Yes, $10 at Five Below. Yeah. It is false advertising.
Well, what was it? Dollar Tree, which is now $1.25 tree. It's like, whoa, inflation catches up with us all. Guys. I mean, at least Dollar General never actually said everything here's $1. We just say that you're going to spend some dollars, and, which you can. But and there's a lot of branded products, so it's not like you probably do. So
You probably do.
You probably do. I'm not
just
entirely
trying to think. The only thing I've ever bought in Dollar General was we needed Jolt Cola for a video, and I think they had it.
I think they didn't because I've checked and.
There was some soda we needed.
Maybe we did
that I bought there.
They will typically.
I think that's the only time I've ever.
Things like I think they will typically have tiki punch or whatever it's being called these days. I know that Shasta tiki punch used to be had at the dollar stores, and I don't think you can anymore.
Bucking some change now. Bucking some change.
Well,
or it makes me think of Desk Set. When she says, in some sense, dollar and some sense.
In some sense, exactly. And some kind of change.
I like bucking some change, though. That's funny.
That's a good alternate name for our fake store, which, of course, was the Cash Pit.
Ohana Punch.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hilarious. Well,
God.
there was an infamous Ohana Punch that involved the actual Shasta Tiki Punch and 151. That was sweet and potent and would knock you on your keister. I would think to myself, like, I would not sample that these days. I tried it at the time because I'm like, hey, I'm intrepid.
There's no sense in today's dollar. Exactly. Yeah. Well, you can buy Shasta Tiki Punch at Family Dollar. Oh,
can be had at Family
really?
Dollar. Okay.
We know someone who, like, when he finds out a store has it, he buys all of it.
He buys out like all the 2-liter bottles. And you're trying to buy the 3-liter bottles.
I just remember they, someone for their, I forget who it was, but someone for their crawl room on one of the Northeast Tiki tours made the punch that was Shasta Tiki Punch and 151. And I just remember there was a person the next day who couldn't get on the bus.
Yeah. Out.
Oh, it was so sad. She missed the whole tour.
Watch out
because
for that Tiki Punch.
Hi, Ken.
Yeah, and in my opinion of 151.
I look like the Cincinnati Bengals uniform for next year.
Ready to go. Well, I like the stripes have like this very
Hi, Johnny.
psychedelic effect over here. Yeah, my opinion of the 151 and similar proofs is I don't use them. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I would be careful doing it with 151 because people who aren't used to it.
Whoa. With the appropriate high proof liquor, you can't quite tell if it's disguised enough. And then suddenly it's like, you just got a double dose. That's basically...
I just got to chill at my spine.
Well, it's basically double proof. If your standard shot is about 80,
in here.
This is pretty close to double proof. That's nuts. And I will say, like, if you visit us here and you say, I'd like to try the actual zombie, the Don Beachcomber zombie.
Oh, that sounds great.
It's like we can make any one of 3 fairly authorized formulas on that. They all involve high proof.
Johnny says I use 151 as cough medicine. That's a good use for it, actually. Yeah. And Gettysburg Ma'am says we do half Tiki Punch and half Verner's ginger ale for every party. That sounds good, actually.
That sounds nice.
We'll use an offensive line and we will be back.
Boom. There we go.
Ooh, Satellite says we're making revolvers tonight.
Hello.
Awesome.
Okay. So it's in a revolver, just asking. Sounds like a hot pistol.
Speaking of
drinks, we've been in line for nearly 10 minutes. And
I know.
Check this
I
out.
haven't made a single drink.
Never how dry we are.
Let's remedy that.
Shall we remedy the dryness? We were using other types of material as cough medicine. We were pretty ill during our broadcast.
I still am coughing slightly.
I still have a little phlegm. I still have a little phlegminess here, and I tell you, I found that we have a bottle in the freezer that is the hot version of Jägermeister, And I'm like, that is cough syrup. That really
Oh,
is.
yeah,
You take a
yeah.
shot of it, you're like, feels
Yeah,
warm.
he gave me a
feels
shot of
better.
that when we were sick.
And, it's kind of like things go down. We'll probably suppress a few coughs.
Oh, that
as a
sounds
matter of fact.
good. Bourbon,
Bourbon,
coffee,
coffee,
and orange.
flamed orange.
That
peel.
sounds great.
Okay, now you're talking.
Hi, Peter. Good to see you.
But definitely. Okay.
Okay, so
So anyway, yes.
I'm trying to decide which one. I think I should do this one first.
February 2nd in Manhattan.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I have a new one. Well, a new old one. New because I changed the bitters. So I'm calling it February 2nd in Manhattan because it's essentially a Manhattan with black walnut bitters.
Mm-hmm.
All you do
All you do
is combine 2 ounces of bourbon.
there's a pretty good place to start, and itself a pretty good cough medicine.
Ooh, well, rum
I'm
tastes
just
good
saying.
in champagne. You can, yeah. You
Yeah.
can,
We've done that.
if you want to do like a French 75-ish type thing with
5-ish?
rum, that'll
Any
work.
style of that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that'll
Yeah, I
work.
would say somewhere around like 1 to 1.5 ounces of that as a base. Put some sour in that. Put a little sweet in that if you like maybe some orange liqueur, and then top with your bubbles. That's kind of your
Johnny says-
standard formula for a
Oh, Mom's asking if my
75,
back,
which usually
my back
is
seems
gin.
good. It's definitely a lot better.
Oh yeah,
And my-
absolutely.
On top of being sick, my back went out. So it's just been 23 has just been so many good things have happened so far in 23, but it's just been my body has fallen apart. But other
of-
than that,
Speaking of kick you in the keister,
but
you know,
yeah, my back
yeah.
is a lot better. Thank you for asking.
we have one correspondent reporting got sick
Got
on Jaeger.
sick on Jaeger. Aw.
Man, yeah, that's the thing. If you did on any one of these things, it's like never touching it.
Oh,
And do
Gettysburg
it.
Ma'am is hoping
And do
for
it.
6 more weeks of winter. Yeah, because it hasn't felt like winter at all. You know, whatever for me. I whatever. I'm fine.
We
It hasn't. We have like a dusting of snow. That's it.
do know. Yeah, we
I'll
got
take
a
the sweet
a
vermouth.
minor precipitant.
You don't mind.
Sweet, I don't mind. at
Thank
all.
you.
Absolutely. We happen to have Antica Carpano, which is a really great sweet vermouth, recommended.
Oh,
It's
thanks, Dime.
more
Yeah,
widely
it's-
available these days, which is nice.
I'm also standing on a pad.
Which is
Since it's-
actually a yoga mat, which
Since
is
I
kind of folded
got
over.
the inspiration to bring a pad back here, it's just been a game changer for
It
these
makes all the difference.
broadcasts. Just standing.
I think about people who stand for a living, like
Oh, Eric says, please no,
professional
it's
chefs.
23 right
hint, hint.
now.
I think that typically
It's
in the
cold here,
kitchen
too.
you'll be on that rubbery mat, which is a
Thank you.
good way to a good grip on the floor where you might be spilling things.
Lisa's done with winter.
And I tell you, you really need that if you're just standing there for hours. It's hard on the feet. Concrete floors, whoa, yowza. I mean, our floors are padded because we have wall-to-wall carpeting, but they're still actually pretty firm.
Oh, I'm so happy
pretty
with the
rough stuff.
standing pad. Yes.
Yeah.
I completely understand wanting spring. But this winter hasn't, well, it's only February 1st,
Yeah.
so I'm knocking on wood. It hasn't been bad.
We're in the thick of it now.
It's
And of
supposed to be
course,
really cold
We're
this
getting the Arctic blast coming our way,
Yeah.
which has been socking the Midwest. I was hearing on the morning show, the morning drive show, which I listen to. Occasionally, I drive to it. That there was somewhere in Utah was experiencing negative 68 degrees earlier this week. Brrr, man,
That's when you
what that-
literally can't
what is
go
that?
out.
Yeah, I mean that's it.
Oh.
South Pole.
Yeah,
Anyone?
Julie says I'm always happy to get through January, whatever the weather. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Absolutely.
January and March. I'm okay with February because it's my birthday month. But otherwise, hi, Knick Knack Twin.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Very good.
Okay, so this is 2 ounces of bourbon, a half ounce sweet vermouth, and 3 dashes of black walnut bitters.
Boom.
I'm calling it February 2nd in Manhattan. Because
Which-
it's essentially a Manhattan with black walnut bitters.
You could actually go to Manhattan, New York tomorrow, and you could look around for Punxsutawney Phil. Unfortunately, he'll be in Pennsylvania.
You could see Staten Island Chuck.
You could see Staten
but
Island
he'd be on
Chuck,
Staten Island.
But you'd have to go to Staten Island. Now, you can get there for no extra charge because the Staten Island ferry these days is free. So, there we go.
Thank you.
There we go.
All right.
Excellent.
Strain
So anyway.
into a cocktail glass.
And strain. That smells great.
I know.
Speaking of your
A
cough,
little
cough
extra.
medication type things.
Woohoo.
Well, when we are just feeling under the weather that way, there is the standard. I say this all
A
the time.
Punxsutawney teeny.
Tony Teeny, Punxsutawney,
I was thinking the Punxsutawney.
Punxsutawney.
Punxsutawney. Oh, and
Well, I'm actually
garnish with a cherry.
making something that we can sort of nickname the Punxsutawney because it is a gin-based item that happens to have vermouth. We're going to go from there. Yeah, and in fact, it's small, so it's there we go.
It really does change it a little bit.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting that. That is a little different. I'm getting that nuttiness.
Yeah. Errol says that blast hit us
just enough.
hard. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, man.
Oh, Bill says in our kitchen we use the rubber mats found in bars. Awesome.
Excellent. That's the way to go. I've heard of other people doing that too.
Oh boy, a space heater. I wish I had a space heater right now. I'm freezing.
Cold stuff. As I had the door open there, and I did close it.
Oh, geez. 1984 Burlington High School Advanced English Poetry class. Can I recite?
Yeah, I wish you would.
If winter comes, will spring swallow?
No.
Da 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 da.
Well, boom. The swallows do come in spring now, don't they? After all, and we hope that they do. Manhattan Research. That would of course be Mr. Oh no, I'm totally spacing. Yeah, I know who you're talking about though. Yeah. And a real pioneer in synthesis, among other things. Some pretty far out records. Raymond Scott. Boom, done. Great. You know what? I forgot to get my correct size glass. I'll be right back. So.
Your correct size glass?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you wanted one of these.
What I'm making is small, and I think this is entirely.
Oh, all right. We have little glasses in here, you know.
This is true, but I really like these. Guys.
Anyway.
Anywho.
Oh my gosh, Bill says it was 24 degrees there. Wow.
Hello. We're talking 24F. That is cold enough, folks.
Oh, Eric, my sister-in-law loves snow. She's like a huge fan. Hi, Keith. Good to see you.
And she lives in New Hampshire, so I think, well, that's
I
entirely
know. Well, she's in the right place. And hi,
Right place for
Laura.
it.
Good to see you.
We're upstate
Hey,
New York enough
thank
that
you.
we are in the thick of it. If not exactly ski slope territory, close.
We're above the snow line.
We're above the snow line. We get it. We get it. We get too much of it, don't we? Anyway, so I'm going to make a little something that I found in a
Ooh,
book.
is there a good Pennsylvania liquor to use in a Punxsutawney teeny? Oh, yeah, there are definitely.
I will put it this way: if you're making a teeny,
Gettysburg Man would be the one to ask, but yeah.
if you're making a teeny, it had better be gin or vodka because it's a teeny. And it better not contain chocolate sauce. That's dessert. And it shouldn't contain things like rye. It's no longer a teeny. It would be a Manhattan-style drink. Now, there's excellent rye being made in Pennsylvania. Again, there's actually a fairly commercial brand in a very large bottle. I forget the brand of it. A friend of ours brought a bottle to us at one point. But there's also, I think, Dad's Hat Liquors makes a really good bourbon and rye. And I believe they are making a gin because, well, they all do. And I think we've actually had the Dad's Hat. And it was a really good gin. And I thought the price was quite nice. We can go over the state line in about 18 minutes and be in Matamoros. And
Yeah, I remember buying a Pennsylvania brand of something.
yeah. So there's one good thing. And there's some other brands
Yeah.
out there. And then, of course,
Oh,
there's
Pennsylvania rye.
there's
There
that
you
whole
go.
brand, this whole line of liqueurs that are made in Philly, I believe. That is Jack-ins. Jack-ins been making those forever and a day. And so those are available too. And those are quite economically priced.
I love rye
as I
too.
recall.
My next drink has rye.
So-
Got to make sure Paul gets one before I finish mine.
Finishing it off. Well, let's
I know.
swirl.
Gotta get cracking.
Get cracky. There we go.
Now, which one?
I need this.
Oh, I think I know what you're doing here.
Mhm.
I know what you're doing. We made this one a gazillion years ago. I don't.
Yeah?
I don't know if we made it on the show.
We probably just found the name and
I
went
think
with
it was like cocktail of the week on my website when I would do a cocktail of the week.
Yeah.
Remember that was like so many years ago.
That's like 20 years back now.
yeah,
All of those still exist somewhere. I really should dig those out and make the whole book. Some of them
crack-a-lackin'.
some of them were a little questionable as far as these things go. It was a long time ago, but
Yeah.
we eventually were coming up with the sort of thing we do on the show, and then came the show. So pre-show there was that, and now the show is what we're doing.
The show.
The show
The
and
show.
the shisha, and isn't show a character in Santa Claus Conquers the Martians? Anyway, so here we go with this little thing. This is a little. I like to look in the books, the classics, and this happened to be the newest Mr. Boston guide, and see if there's anything appropriate. And like, any drinks called Groundhog, any drinks called Hog, any drinks called Pig, any drinks called February, any drinks called
Thanks, Laura.
6 More Weeks of Winter. No, not a one. Absolutely not. But there was this little classic called Damn the Weather, and that's with hyphens too. Damn the Weather.
Oh,
So
Lisa.
this is a shorty.
Sleet is the worst. Ugh.
This is a shorty, but we're going to go with it. I will
right.
take the gin, please. I was starting off with
Damn
the
the weather.
gin drink. Happen to have some sapphire here. Very nice. Standard Bombay.
Are you just
also
making?
very nice.
Wow, you're making a shorty.
Yeah, so I get the shorty glass. Because this is the actual
you.
formula. I think that this could absolutely be doubled and you would drink it. Now, you could always just make two, have one in the shaker.
For you.
And when you're done,
You're
it's
so
nice and
good.
cold. But we're starting off with 1 ounce of gin. That's not much of a
You're
pour.
so good.
Well, I just wanted to try it as is and see where we go. 1/4 ounce of sweet vermouth. I think I
It's
got
over
both
there,
kinds of vermouth,
yes.
but I only need the sweet. Sweet.
Sweet.
Sweet. All right. And that's got to be about 1/4 ounce pour right there.
Did you bring over the OJ?
No, Jay. I'm
Well,
looking at this
I
and
guess
saying,
you'll be going back in the kitchen.
dang! Forgot the OJ. Okay. 1/4 ounce of triple sec.
Oh, you got to vote for
This is a pretty good place to be.
you got to vote for Damn the Weather. Hi, Amanda.
hello.
Good to see you.
There we go. A really aromatic triple sec, I think, will improve this dramatically. And we happen to be using Marnier. And there we go. Hi, thank you. And we need 1/2 ounce of OJ. I'm going to go pour that and be right back.
All right. Let's catch up here. Oh, slippery fan. Oh gosh, no. Sleet is the worst. Hold on. Da 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 da. Yes. Hold on. Sorry, catching up here. Yeah. Sorry. I lost where I am. Oh, God. Yes. Freezing rain is the worst. Yeah, seeing his shadow. That means 6 more weeks of winter, right? I always forget, too.
Here's the thing, which we can
I
certainly,
always forget which one is
we can
which.
certainly bear in mind about such things. By the calendar, you're getting 6 more weeks of winter, no matter what happens.
Yeah, you
So,
got votes from
Shadow,
Peter
no
for
shadow.
the Grand Marnier and the Sapphire.
There we go. Boom. Good place to be.
Oh, they're only getting the cold out west. That's good.
But you're going to get the winter. The real question is, are you going to get sock in the jaw, or is it
seeing
going to be
the
mild?
shadow. That's
And I
6 more weeks
believe
of
the
winter.
seeing of it means it's going to be harsh.
Which is
the
weird.
general idea.
That it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but
What does? There's like some history to this. I think the straight dope dealt with that a while ago.
Yeah, I know.
There's a long history in Europe of like animals predicting
oh, it's
certain
because he
things
gets
about this and
scared
that.
of the shadow and retreats. Okay, got it.
And
Right, because yes, I didn't realize it was because he got scared of it. I know it's. I always thought it was like, but if he sees his shadow, it doesn't mean it's probably sunny. But that makes more sense to me.
And we're trying to make sense out of like old urban myths. So, the hell. And
know.
straight into our cocktail glass. And
What
this
does the
is
Farmer's
about the right
Almanac
size.
say?
Oh, there's actually a little bit left over here.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Oh, Philadelphia Blue Coat Gin. I don't think so.
Oh, I don't think we.
I feel like I've seen it like they've sponsored maybe events we've been to, but
I am going to.
what if he's hungover?
what if?
Exactly.
Hey!
He's really not going to want to
Yeah,
be
you
yanked out of that burrow.
Put me
if
back
he's
in my
hungover.
burrow, will you?
Just saying.
Guys, please, the light, the light.
What if Bigfoot sees his shadow?
We've got a Yeti back here somewhere.
Oh, I put it away today. That
Oh.
was the January.
We had a Yeti back here
We
somewhere.
got Valentine's Day behind us.
I'm going to put a twist onto this baby because we just happen to have some orange. We had some blood orange earlier, so this is blood orange peel with a twist.
No.
Here, give this a try, will you?
Oh, sorry. I'm just reading Ken's comment. False promise of spring sunshine. Get it? Yeah. It's all right.
There we go. This is okay. It's a
okay.
cute little thing, and the fact is, it's small, so it's kind of like a tiny little pick me up.
Quick, someone open her persimmons.
And so if you're looking for a Punksu Tontini, this is actually pretty small, and it's teeny, and it has gin. So there we go.
Oh, jeez. Punxsutawney fill-in stew.
And with oh my.
Oh.
Well, isn't that something like, trying to predict the future based on, like, eviscerating some birds or something, a very Roman practice? It's like, slaughter the heron on the old altar there. And
satellite
then
lecture glass.
examine the entrails for, like, patterns, I think. Couldn't you just, like, have some tea and, like, pour the leaves over and take it out, Same effect, less violence. Just saying. Yeah, this glass, we got a bunch of these a while back. And these are very cool. These, I believe, are Noritake crystal, which are fun. So they're etched.
We found them at the Reese store.
And we got a really great price on them. And
Early spring, I like that idea.
I think I've said this on air before. I kick myself because they also had these stemmed things that looked an awful lot like these guys. And I was like, well, I don't know if we have room for those. And it's like, make the room. Because they were cool.
Rare. They're not rare.
Have you checked the prices up on the usual sources? They're not cheap.
I have not checked the prices, but I don't think they're rare.
They
might be expensive.
They might be expensive.
Rare.
But, it was expensive and it's rare. Sometimes they coincide. Anyway, so, we're working on this guy. This is going to go down really fast. So I've got a larger thing for around the two, which is good. But this is actually not bad if you're looking for something that is in...
I love this.
In a very... it's kind of like a breakfast drink, frankly, with all that orange juice and orange flavor. And I punched it by adding the peel, so I got a little bit of orange oil going on there.
Oh my gosh. There's a talking porcupine named Teddy who always predicts the Super Bowl.
Really?
What?
Correctly
That's
predicts the
hilarious.
Super Bowl, eh?
That's hilarious.
Hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Good stuff.
I got a cough. It's all right.
Please. Yeah, these I like a lot. These you will see referred to frequently these days as Nick and Nora glasses. That's a very contemporary concept. But when Nick and Nora were actually using these, this was simply called, get this, a cocktail glass. That's what a cocktail was. That was a martini. When, like, she says line up 6 more of those right here, she's talking about these.
Yeah, she's not talking about like these huge fishbowl.
You're not talking about one of these things. Or like bigger. Like,
she'd be in the hospital.
I mean, there was that craze going back about 30 years when suddenly everybody in Manhattan was drinking martinis again. And they were reasonable enough martinis, but you'd get this thing that was like a 6.5 ounce pour for one drink. Yeah, it cost you plenty, so you might as well, right? But it's like after one drink, it's like you needed it to stop. And there were times when I didn't, and whoa, man. Son of a... Because that's just straight hooch. That's it. This has all this juice and stuff in it. Yeah, 1 ounce pour. But, like, if you get a 6 ounce martini, that's basically 6 ounces of gin.
But if she had 6 of those, that's still,
that would still be 6 ounces of gin.
That's a lot of,
Yeah, that'll get to you, too. Now, if you sort of nurse these along and you're having a lot of nibbles, and it takes you hours to down that many, then the major issue is that you're having a fair amount of booze in one sitting. But, I think that the real problem with the martini-style cocktail is that it is cold and it'll hit you. And there's a tendency for people to drink them quickly. And I think, you just had like...
Hi, Casey.
A standard pour is 2 ounces of hooch. So, it's going to take you more than an hour to get rid of that.
Straight Hooch is performing the best classic rock in the local bowling alley. I got to go back. Gettysburg Man was hoping that Teddy, the porcupine, is predicting the Eagles to win. I think you'll have some agreement here from my mom.
Yep.
Let's
Very
see.
likely.
Oh, Satellite says, I have some old coupe stems, cut crystal, but love a little martini. Yeah.
Well, it's sort of like, you packed a punch inside. This sucker is straight dynamite, Wow. Ultimately, this is a real short hoist that's not going to, like, knock me anywhere. It's like, it's 1 ounce pour.
Laura's asking which... Yeah, don't drive. We're not going anywhere. Laura's asking, what is the album on the bottom shelf behind your right. Mine? This one? Okay.
All right.
Grab it.
Watch out for these
Grab
folks.
it out of here.
Tom Mohide. Music for Dancing, I think it's called.
Tom Mohide, music for dancers. He's a It's Tom Mohide's music for dancers. Oh, because it's got dance instruction.
Dance instruction,
Yes.
and it's basically like a polka band.
With illustrations.
But I think they're teaching how to do several steps in here. Might even be some disco on this.
It's
Discotheque and line dance instruction. Isn't that great? This is
Yep.
definitely from the 70s.
Yep. Oh, it's got all the like foot patterns on this side.
As
And
if
then
you're
on
going to
this
learn
side,
how to
it's got the
dance from like
photos.
reading an instruction sheet. Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. And it says for a free booklet containing dance routines similar to the above lessons, send the attached coupon to Tom Mohide, 79 6th Avenue, Milford, Connecticut.
Oh well.
Any of my Connecticut people in the house tonight?
Just asking, do you recognize this one? Yeah, and it's like Mohide, I think, is the orchestra leader, and there's also an accordion player. Ed Horniak is there on the keys. He's ready to go for you.
Yes.
He's rocking the joint. Telling you, Cardinal record, Tom Mohide's music for dancers. It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh! If any of my Connecticut people are in the house, please raise your hand.
It has such recognizable songs as "What Now My Love," "Sunny."
Peter
Pata
says, "I think
Pata,
we need a polka cocktail."
El Negrito
We need to
del
just do a
Bate.
whole polka episode, really.
But this is all set up like an Arthur Murray record. He's got foxtrot, rumba,
Oh, yeah.
cha-cha, swing, discotheque, waltz, merengue, tango, samba, line dance. Line dancing on this thing.
I switched it all up for. I'll make a video of just back here, but I switched it up for Valentine's Day, so I tried to put romantic records. Romantic being in the eye of the beholder, because I have Helen Gurley Brown up here. So, that's how engineers learn to dance. Well, it still doesn't work.
Yeah. Polka
Oh, but
cocktail.
Okay, when I bought
Probably
this,
is.
there were several things I loved about this. I love her skirt. Let's see if you can. The pattern on her skirt
Yeah.
is killer.
Pretty hot.
She's wearing these like metallic heeled loafers.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love the kid that's just sitting there on the bench watching
It's like,
them.
hi,
That's-
mom and dad dance.
Exactly.
That's a killer.
I want to know if anyone out there knows Tom Mohide.
He's probably still around. The orchestra probably still
Do you know
plays
what
Central
a
Connecticut.
Quarterbox is? I bet he does. I don't.
I have heard the name, and I'd have to actually
Hi, Gene.
look that up again. That sounds like one of those like electronic piano type things. That sounds kind of
Yeah,
like
they're
fascinating.
loafers, but they've got heels and they're metallic. They're like silver metallic.
I was introduced again to there's an electronic instrument from the 30s. What is that called again? I
Metallic
just
instrument from the
ran into this
30s.
again because I was just playing some stuff at work while I was doing spreadsheets. You got to play some music while you're doing spreadsheets because otherwise it's seriously dire. And I just was thinking to myself, I got in the mood for
Oh, electronic accordion.
electronic accordion. Hello.
Oh, Thin. Yes, there is a Thin Man album behind.
There is,
this.
in fact.
It's a radio. It's from CBS Lux Radio.
It is, I think it's one complete show, which is the radio version of the first movie. This is from 1936.
Yeah, based on the 1934 film.
June 8th, 1936 on CBS Lux Radio Theater. By Lux, they mean soap, of course. It's literally a soap opera. No, it's actually it's a dramatization.
Yep.
And you do have William Powell and Myrna Loy.
Yep.
And Asta. Hello.
Yep.
So there we go. And I've heard some of this. It's kind of fun. And if you get the box set of the movies, you get bonus discs. And two of the boni are the radio shows for movie number 1 and radio show for movie number 2, which is really cool.
Hi, Dean.
So that's fun. These are fun to listen to.
He made a theremin.
Yes.
He did. He made a theremin.
I built a theremin. Back in the day, it was one of those things you would hear about, and it's not like you could just go down to the instrument store and buy one. In the 80s, like nobody was selling theremins. There was no such thing. And if you wanted, I want one of the theremins from the
someone
20s.
must have been.
These were extremely rare instruments, and if you found them, they were a huge amount of money, just tons. Now you could always copy the schematic. If anybody here who does electronics, it's like this is basically about 8 vacuum tubes, and some of that is your amplification. It's
Yeah,
not.
he
It's not
built a
a
theremin.
crazy circuit. It's two oscillators, right? That's all it is. They're very high frequency. You can't hear it, but you combine the two signals together, it detunes, and sort of the difference between those is what you hear. And you have one circuit that does the tone, one circuit that does volume. That's all that's in a theremin. It's a pretty simple instrument, and it has that ethereal, strange sound. So pretty fun. And back in the day, I remember thinking I'd really love to play around with one of these. And one day I'm in a electronics store on Canal Street, and they happen to have the latest issue of Hands-On Electronics. This has to be like 1987. I still have the issue. And on the cover, build a theremin. I'm like, really? So I take a look. I'm like, that's all it is? I can do that. So it actually has a whole parts list, and it had the etch pattern for the circuit board, which you don't need a circuit board for this. It's really, really simple. But at that point in time I was etching patterns for everything, so I did.
Back then I was etching.
Oh, I
patterns
etched
for
everything. What the hell? So I did make my own circuit board, drilled it out, and got the parts. You couldn't just go to Radio Shack. You needed some silver mica caps for this thing because you needed very stable, very, very high capacity things. And I remember actually going to one store I need the following. Yeah, so for $1 a piece, you got these parts. The circuit was actually it was based on an integrated circuit, so it was really simple, and that used off-the-shelf antenna and things like that. There's no volume on this thing. There's no volume control. It's just you turn it up, turn it down. But there was the pitch control, which is the antenna. So I built the thing, plugged it in, and it worked. And it sounded great, and it sounded really great if you put it through a delay line. It's really, really cool. If you want to throw that through a ring mod, that's really cool. And it still works. It's noisy as hell. Now, part of that is the thing that it's not that sophisticated a circuit, and I'm also plugging it into a guitar amp, which is pretty noisy. So I might be able to improve that. But I've always thought about building a nicer sounding unit. You can buy a kit from Pi Electronics, which is in Oklahoma City. Hello, all of you Oklahoma City residents, or even Oklahoma residents.
I was gonna say they're Tulsa residents.
We have Tulsa residents tonight.
Yeah.
But the OC,
unless there are Oklahoma City people watching, I don't know about.
There may be, Anyway,
if there are, hello.
The OC still has Pi Electronics, and they will sell you synthesizer modules and things like that if you'd like to roll your own. But you can buy their theremin kit for I think about $2.25 or something. Throw it about another $75, and you can get a lectern case that will actually hold everything. And they have great support. You can download the entire manual and read how it's done and whatnot. And they have a lot of modifications. And that'll be a nicer sounding instrument. And you can go to your local instrument store these days, Alto Music or whatnot, and you can buy one made by the Moog Company. Yep.
I was going to say, I think you can just go buy a theremin.
You can go buy a theremin these days. So that's completely changed around. I mean, Bob Moog started out selling theremin kits in around 1961. Eventually, he starts getting into, well, suppose you make this more sophisticated, and then, it goes from there.
We can make a trip to Oklahoma City. All right, I got to catch up here. Peter says back in the 70s, there was a Fantastic Four radio drama.
Oh, cool.
I didn't know that. I'm sure someone here did, besides Peter. But
I think I knew that.
I did not know that.
Because a friend of mine who was a dealer, like a record dealer, would turn up these weirdo things. And he turned up these, I think, open reel tapes. And one of them said Fantastic Four. And he wasn't sure what the hell this was. Was this the 60s cartoons? Or was this the 70s soul group? There was the soul group, the Fantastic Four. Okay. So, I remember we slapped on and played it. It turned out to be the radio drama.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Was that John? Fun.
Yeah, that was John Ellis.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there was the cartoon show from the 70s, 80s, early 80s, I think, that replaced the Human Torch because they were all concerned about kids playing around with fire. Well, legitimate concern.
Human Torch.
But man, if you don't have Johnny Storm, you're missing something. I'm just saying.
And then so Lisa says, love the episode of Big Bang Theory with Sheldon playing the theremin. Did you learn to play the Star Trek theme?
No, but I probably could fake that action pretty easily.
Oh well.
You're
going to have to pull the theremin out now and play it.
It does actually have that kind of a sound.
Not today, but Soon.
If you watch the Theremin movie, highly recommend it.
Oh, Robert's in Oklahoma City. Well, hello. I'm glad you joined us.
Thank you,
Good
Robert.
timing.
Thank you very much.
Ryan,
Yeah.
hi Ryan. Good to see you.
If you want to build a Theremin, you can always go to Paya. They actually have some awesome kits, and they had the whole.
If you want to build a theremin.
They were the source for a lot of kits that you could buy if you wanted to build guitar effects. Because I remember there was a book called Guitar Projects for Musicians, or Electronic Projects for Musicians, by a guy named Craig Anderton. He was like a big electronics guru back in the day. Also used to he played in like a 60s rock band.
Casey
etc.
says, I request a fall theremin performance. So you did it to yourself.
Now I've got to actually play the theme to Summer Place. There you go. That's what Bob Moog plays in the Theremin movie. Oh, yeah. Theremin movie, of course, features the creators of it. Like,
oh my gosh, that movie is so good.
it is so touching because they basically managed to reunite Clara Rockmore with Lev Theremin. Because he was still living in Moscow. He was like 95.
Stella says I'm getting a
At the
bit
time.
tipsy from double barreling the revolvers. I love it. Okay,
Hello.
Dime seconds that request.
I second that
Oh,
motion.
okay, great. Oklahoma people are meeting up. I love it. Okay, good. So I'm going to drop the link
Check it
for the Theremin film because if you
gotta-
haven't seen it, it's
Need to
really
check,
good.
Check this stuff. Anybody here who's talking about synthesis and talking about early instruments, ondes, martino, all that kind of stuff, solo vox, all these fun things. I still can't remember the thing I was thinking
Yeah.
about, but I will in a minute. But it's really amazing, and it's one of the earliest and simplest electronic instruments. It sounds really cool. It really does sound out of this world, and it is incredibly difficult to play. I mean, you really are dealing with millimeters worth of space, and you just got to kind of memorize where all that is to get your tone, get your tonality. It's much easier to make funny sound effects.
You know what? It's
which is
there
what bands do with it.
twice because I put it on each place. I don't even. I
Hello.
can just drop it one place.
You can just drop it. Well, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe
It
not.
will show up
Maybe
to
not.
us here, but you've got to be on each platform.
Hi,
You still
Marty.
gotta drop both
Yes,
places.
Marty
Hey!
points out 71 Super Creep uses a theremin.
theremin.
Yes.
Most groups will use it just as sound effects. I know that.
Oh my gosh.
Who was it?
Did you see Eric's comment?
Out of Sights actually have a theremin player. I think it's a keyboard player will double on theremin. Let's see.
What's this?
Oh, mixer
Modules.
module system. Hello.
Oh,
Big fun.
okay.
Big fun. I mean, it's if you ever get a chance to really monkey around with like what am I thinking of? Like a Series 1 Moog, the actual Moog synth. It's just a bunch of modules. They're all these big electronic boxes.
Yeah.
And of course, they're just black and silver and everything. To make a sound, you start with one sound, one oscillation, and you have to start plugging. And you're plugging it with patch cables. It's like guitar cables that you're using on this thing. And it's voltage dependent, which means that if the voltage out of your wall changes, so goes your tonality. Real flaw in the design. I think that was corrected when the Mini Moog came out, which was a really good idea too. Because if you're trying to tour with Emerson, Lake and Palmer with all these modules, yeah, you're gonna need some serious roadies, guys. Just saying. Joey Fawn. Hello. Nope, don't recognize that. I'm still thinking about what was. Oh, by the way, I'm still thinking about that comment from Casey about what Super Hooch or
No, what was that? I got to go back.
Got to go back and check it out.
Straight hooch.
Straight Hooch. Oh, yeah, Straight Hooch. Yeah, Straight Hooch is Friday. Straight Hooch at Strut, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. That's it.
Strut.
There was really a club called Strut back in the day.
Oh,
And
wait,
they would always have the cover
I
bands.
missed Lisa's comment. I'm having champagne while Errol is drinking our homemade American Pilsner.
How about
I
that?
might end up having a Pilsner a little bit later.
We've been drinking some American Pilsner made by Yangling,
I
and I got
know.
to tell you, it's really good.
Everyone trashes on Yangling, but it's really not
I don't
bad.
know who trusts on Yangling. That's good beer.
Oh, don't you remember?
Oh, I do not because
Oh,
I've
yeah, no, there
actually-
was a whole...
back in the day, like the Black and Tan was just a standard beer to have around
There
the
was
house.
just a whole, I
Really good
remember,
combo.
thread one time where everyone was trashing Yangling.
I don't know why you do that.
Not bad. And it was on sale, so...
It's one of our locals, really, and it's got a good price. And they have some specialty beers like the Lord Chesterfield, which is really
You
nice.
got to respond to these comments because it's like Charlie Brown's teacher for me.
Oh, yeah.
All of the like
Software simulation of the Moog.
technical stuff about the Moog. I'm like, la la la.
Well, if you get the tones right, there you go. If you can do that kind of simulation with circuits, certainly. And if you just sort of like say, okay, what we're going to have is oscillators. Well, if you've got a computer program, then there you go. You can build all your tones that way and just put things together. And all you need is like your envelope filters and
Yeah, Lisa says, I can
and then you
follow
go from
along
there.
with cocktails, but I get lost in the techno jargon.
Oh, I know.
I'm with you.
We're not here
you.
to tell you how to build a theremin.
Okay,
even though I
Casey's
did
a
it, and it wasn't
fan
that
of
much.
Yangling.
Yeah,
I am too.
it's good beer. Certainly where you're coming from, where you have ample supplies of Gansett, it's like Yangling is just
Thank you.
right on board. So
You know, I thought about picking up some Gansett today
yeah, but
because
you didn't.
I was driving by Beer King,
Yeah.
but it was 7:30 in the morning and they weren't open. So
Oh. Yeah.
so-
Probably
Yeah,
nobody
I
drinking
didn't-
beer
Yeah,
at
no,
that hour.
nope, not open. So if I would like some Gansett, I got to go back when they're open. That was fascinating. I know.
One needs. It's too true. Yeah. One needs another beverage. I'm looking what's in your right
Okay,
hand
David
over
likes
there.
it too.
Oh,
Okay,
well.
good.
There you
I know. I have another one to make before I switch to the Yangling.
Yeah. Got a-
Larry says, I'd love to play with the equipment
Tangerine
Tangerine
Dream.
Dream had in the 70s, right?
At that
Even
point
I
in
get that.
time,
Even
like,
I get that.
What were they using? They were probably using like Mini Moogs or Profit. You see a lot of Profit synths in 80s videos. People were using those like mad.
I
Roland synths.
I
from
know
that
I'm
period
going
of
to
time.
regret this.
Drum machines, all that kind of thing.
I'm going to
Yeah.
regret this. What's a Profit synth?
It's a synthesizer made by Profit,
Made by Profit or made for Profit?
the Profit company. Made this. Well, actually, I don't know which company made this.
Well, if I would have a
the branded
company,
name
I
is
want it to be a
Profit.
profit company.
Oh, what the hell? Look it up. Here we go.
Just saying.
Oh, like a for-profit? Yeah. Well, I believe that the company was in it for the money.
They were in it for profit.
There
Oh,
we go.
Peter says my next instrument will be a theremin. Oh.
Well, you can march on down to Alto Music and pick up a Moog.
I think that,
just like
yeah,
that. I think
yeah.
it comes in a couple of different finishes. It is not outrageously priced. It has really nice tone. There was like a really hyper model of that's unfortunately no longer on the market, but their standard model is around, and you can learn how to play it. It's good stuff.
I feel like I need to.
It is solid state for those of you who like love the vacuum tubes. No, it's not that. But you can also find some really great plans from back in the day. There was one.
Oh, Dime says those were ungodly expensive. Which ones?
The like the Moogs. The Moogs I recall are something like $400 or $500. They're not crazy ass big. There was if you
Hi,
want
Daniel. Good
or
to
if you're
see
referring
you.
to like the vacuum tube models, if you're trying to get like an RCA theremin from the 20s, yeah, that's going to cost you thousands of dollars. And when you buy it, you're
Oh,
going to have
yeah.
to service
Well, the
the
pretty
thing because
ones.
it's all old parts.
Because if you watch the Theremin documentary, they have these like beautiful like wood.
It just looks like this
cabinets.
big console radio, and
The
half
Theremin
of it
he
is
made is just like this little metal box.
a metal box.
So
Standard chassis from Radio Shack back in the day.
standard chassis from Radio Shack. It sounds
Classy.
so fancy.
Classy chassis, you know. Got myself a classy
Uh-oh.
chassis.
Oh no! Errol says I think I'm in trouble with Lisa. I opened a beer and it spewed all over the table behind the couch.
What a shame. What
I know
a shame.
it happens. It happens. Oh, the Prophet synths. The Prophet synths. Dime says he cleared that one up.
Oh, the Profits.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. They're still on the market, and yeah, this is thousands of dollars worth of synth.
Yeesh.
Yowza. Yeah, here's one. Sequential Profit 10 analog, $43.99. They're listing this at.
Oh wow.
They're nice looking machines, and this is why they were popular. But yeah, they were going to
That's
cost
some
you.
money.
It's like if you want to buy, an actual Stratocaster, not like the student model. Yeah, that's going to be some money. It's a nice machine, though. You know, it's a nicer guitar, no question. What was the other thing, though? I wanted to look up what the hell was that instrument, and where am I going to find that?
I don't
Okay,
know.
I know where I'm going to find that. Yeah.
When it comes to electronic instruments, you can't touch a theremin. I get that too. I get that too.
Yeah, you really shouldn't because it's
Oh my gosh.
You can't because it's going to mess up the tuning.
Dime says
There
I
you
think they were 15K back in the 70s.
go. Good
Wow.
grief. Good grief. Yeah.
Crazy. Profits for profit, exactly, Marty.
Well, the company was definitely in it for the money.
Oh, hilarious. Back in the late 80s, Tangerine Dream would actually use an Atari ST. Wow.
Hello. Big fun.
I'm not going to say it. I don't want to look like an idiot. I have plenty of opportunities to look like an idiot without saying it.
Don't say that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I want to make another one.
Let's see here. Yeah, you do that. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell I'm talking about here. What am I talking about?
I need another
I don't know.
shaker.
Ondioline.
You don't mind.
The Ondioline. That was an
right.
early
I'm seeing
keyboard.
if I'm correct here.
That was actually marketed as sort of an alternate to the Ondes. It was cheaper, but unfortunately it was really cheap parts. So they always need servicing.
We can't both be reading at the same time.
No,
but,
you take care of that. I will talk about what's what. So that's a fun one to listen to. If you want to hear a good version or a good track that features that, check out. There's that album Cooper Bloomfield Stills, and Al Cooper's playing that on the Holy Modal Majesty track. Really cool track too. It's got some great Mike Bloomfield work on it, but it's got this really weird, unearthly keyboard sound, and that's what he's playing. He apparently used that quite a bit.
I'm glad I didn't say anything.
Okay.
Because I think I was wrong.
I was wrong.
Ellen is waiting for a cocktail.
I
I hope not, because she's
she's
waiting
waiting
for a really long time.
Actually, do you want to? We have something to try too.
Oh, that's right.
Shall we sample?
We have a new bottle.
Hello. Might as well go for it.
Swing.
Showing. Yeah, this is a Christmas present. Hell, Bushmill's Prohibition recipe. What makes it a prohibition? There wasn't prohibition in Ireland. Anyway, so this is 92 proof. This is a little woo, baby.
Oh boy.
But it is calling itself limited edition.
It's a little
so
woo.
It's a little woo.
Well,
When
just
people
in
say it's
time
a
for
little
St.
woo,
Patrick's Day.
It's something else they're talking about. I gotta find the zip strip on this thing. I didn't bring my knife. That was silly.
Well, there's the wine kit down there if you want the wine cutter thingy.
That's not going to work on this style.
You sure?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Positive?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'll be back.
I think it would work. I'm just saying, I think it would work. Eric says, I would do my parody of Another Brick in the Wall, part 2, to be sung to flirting women. But I know YouTube would ban me. I don't know. You know, you never know what YouTube's going to... If it doesn't have any children in it, you're probably fine.
Yeah, and, you have when you do one of these shows, when you program one of these shows like we do, you have options of like, is this content for children? We're always like, no, and it's got nothing to do with them, so no way.
Errol says, perhaps it was snuck in from Ireland during Prohibition.
Maybe that's the idea. I don't know.
I like that. Peter says, we should raise a glass to Tom Verlaine.
Oh, there we go.
Agreed. So
I was listening to some Verlaine today on the radio. Because all of the DJs were suddenly playing a lot of television, etc., and some solo stuff. He used to actually come into the record store I worked at quite a bit, and he bought a lot of stuff, as I recall.
Oh, he used to go into your store?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember talking to him a number of times, but I had just seen him like a year or so prior.
Oh, and Cindy Williams, yes.
On that tour for that last album that they did.
Yes, and Cindy Williams.
There we go.
Thank you, love her.
I was reading. Oh, geez, yeah.
I was reading something.
Cheryl.
I was reading something about Cindy Williams, that apparently she was the one who inspired the remake of Father of the Bride.
Oh, wow. How about?
She was friends with the producers, and she was just watching the movie one night on TV, the Spencer Tracy and Elizabeth Taylor one, and she said, this would be, if you're going to do a remake, this would be a good one to remake, and it was a huge hit.
She got that thing over.
Yep.
And bang. How about that? This is deceptively smooth. You're like, wow, that's actually going down pretty easily. And then you get a little bit of burn, because it's 92 proof. So this is serious stuff. Now, whiskey back in the day probably would have been served at about this proof, or even 100.
I am going to give myself a slight, it looks like a spoonful of water. It's good.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to follow your suit there.
I don't want to, I don't want to, here.
Don't want to,
You know.
Yeah.
but it is a
Just
good
a few
one.
drops. Opens
Yes.
it up, they say. Frequently recommended for Scotch, which is frequently sold at something like 90 or 100 proof. Yeah, it takes the proof down just a bit,
Yeah.
and boom.
Yep.
There you go.
That is good.
Nice.
Has just the right amount of burn.
Has a particular flavor profile that I do associate with Irish whiskey and Bushmills in particular. So they're definitely working the flagship taste here. Good stuff.
You don't want to peak too soon.
Hello.
You don't want to peak too soon. Errol says, I have a good friend whose dad was a DJ. His father's request was when he was being hauled to the cemetery, they played Another One Bites the Dust.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Tell you, hilarious, big fun. We so far have had requests for Queen and for Pink Floyd here. We're really working the classic rock people. I'm gonna tell you now that's straight. And remember, Straight Hooch is appearing this Friday with all of your favorites. So come with requests because I'll play everything. Great bunch of guys, you know. I know it's really hack rock and roll, but they're kind of fun.
It's not the original lineup, though.
It's not the original
Just
lineup.
saying.
Yeah, I know. It's not exactly that kind of thing. But it's half price beer specials until 8. So check that stuff out. Gansett on tap.
You know
So-
what? I'm not going to be a hero. Would you get me a shaker, please?
Don't be a hero. All I need to do is press one button.
I've been so good resting my back. And I feel like today, I just hope I didn't overdo it.
Bang. You were up and down a lot. Like
I
a lot of
was.
sort of squatting
I
down to
was,
take care.
yeah.
You're doing a lot of vacuuming and stuff, and I think that's a lot of oomph.
Yeah.
A lot of oomph. So, but anyway,
But anyway,
you need another painkiller. So, shall we?
I was thinking we should do painkiller. I'm just looking at Peter's comment. Could Straight Hooch play See No Evil? Of course.
See no evil.
They're taking requests. Okay,
Well,
so
generally speaking, they're playing half of the 38 special catalog because that's what the audience demands. But if you actually go in there and say, yeah, well, I'd like to hear some Talking Heads, some Blondie, maybe some television. I think the bass player is really into that kind of stuff because he actually at the time was playing in some sort of like one of those skronk rock bands that used to play CBs. So he was all familiar with those guys. So this is you can make the request. There's no problem with that whatsoever.
okay, so before we click away,
Before we click.
I am making something I'm calling the hibernation sour
Aha.
because Groundhog Day.
2 ounces of
Starting-
rye.
I don't need to say it. He's going to say it.
What's that? Here. Start pouring.
I'm
Half
going
ounce
to
of
do.
Ferretti Biscotti Famosi.
This is biscotti liqueur. It's called Ferretti Biscotti Famosi.
No, they're self-describing themselves as famous, but you know what? It's good stuff. So I actually, the flavor profile on this is just like completely nailed on.
Half
It's like a
ounce.
really nice sort of a burnt almond flavor.
Yes, it is nice.
So that's good stuff now. Half ounce of fresh lime juice.
I don't have to say a word.
Good
He's
place to
got
be, isn't it?
this.
Yeah, I got this whole thing going on. So I got that going on too.
And if you get that reference,
Hot stuff coming
I will
through.
send you a prize.
As a matter of fact, we just saw an ad for the Munsters, which reminds me, no, not the Munsters, Addams Family, reminding me of the Munsters, which brings us to Butch Patrick. So there we go.
Well, I was thinking of Lisa Loring.
Hello. Yeah, another loss. Within the same period.
6
Dang it all.
dashes black walnut bitters.
The Fee Brothers. This is really good stuff. You have to be careful where you put this because the flavor can get buried. But if you have a simpler kind of a drink, I
You
think
have
it
to
works
be
fine.
careful where you stick it.
Watch how you stick that.
All right, and then 6 dashes.
Where are you going to put that, Griswold?
Fee Brothers cranberry bitters.
Bend over and I'll show you. Anyway, so the Fee black walnut, the Fee cranberry, shake with ice and strain
You go
into.
back to-
You know
Hi,
the rest.
Clinton. Good to see you. Wait. Right.
Nag, nag, nag by Cabaret Voltaire. That's a great song. I really like that. And those guys are super abrasive for that period.
Vacuuming. Do you make house calls? It was because we finally took the tree. Our tree was up from October 1st until today.
Until February 1st. Here we are.
But there were a lot of needles on the floor. So
Yeah, which is pretty funny for an artificial tree.
it drops a lot of needles.
It drops a lot of needles, people. I'm just saying. Yeah, that's actually I happen to like that Cabaret Voltaire track a lot, and they're right in that
Oh.
class of those like
Satellite, that would be great.
Post-punk
Yeah,
groups.
Biscotti with your
that played really sparse sounding stuff, but also pretty abrasive.
I'm gonna let you
Huh, interesting.
proper tempo to perform CPR is the same as both staying alive and another one bites the
Let's
dust.
see. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and well, that's about the right BPM.
I could see it.
Yeah,
I
I can see that just in a second. So if you're actually performing it and like maybe you're having some flop sweats, just remember another one bites the dust. Get that temp in your head and start pushing it. You've got to move that blood if you want to give that person a chance. So, oh yeah,
Can you have me? Do we still have any more chilled glasses?
we do in fact.
Thank you.
There's a Voltaire live record that was recorded in London, and I know the guy who actually recorded it. It was a record on a cassette. So this is sort of a live from audience kind of recording. But it was released. It was released on an album. I think it's from the YMCA, 1979.
Who recorded it?
I don't know if you ever met this guy, but there's a whole story with that. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Yeah. But he was in London at the time because his parents were there, and so he was there like for the initiation of the whole punk rock thing. And of course, he was 14 or something. What did he do? Started a band.
I'm gonna
What else?
add a twist of blood orange.
There you go. How nice.
Hibernation sour.
Bingo.
Yes, please.
Don't mind if I do, she says. Let's
So
think.
good. Thank you.
Oh, that is nice. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely getting the bitters in both cases. A little fruity, a little nutty. Mm-hmm. A little fruity and a little nutty, you know? The squirrels will love it. Speaking of pesky rodents around your yard, we have groundhogs around and about the house.
Oh, that's what I was about to say.
As a matter of fact,
I think they're living under the house.
they really need to be evicted. But so let's see here.
When I think about evicting the groundhogs, in my brain, it turns into a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of the groundhogs just getting cranky and coming back.
Well, they may and they may not.
And
Because I know
doing
that
whatever they have to do to stay.
they were evicted from our neighbor's place a few years back. And as I recall, they did not return.
Really?
So, yeah.
You don't think so, huh?
No, I don't think so. And also,
Because
like
I've seen them in their yard.
when the folks were renovating the house next door, which has now been occupied for a couple of years, I think they did something to evict groundhogs and they disappeared too. So I think it's just wee way.
I have seen them run under their front steps.
What, next door?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they haven't been
Yeah.
evicted.
No.
Anyway, I'm dry. How dry I am. Let us do something.
All right. I recommend it.
I recommend. New that you do. I think I'm going to go with a double old fashioned.
What are you calling this?
I did call it that.
Going underground.
How about that? Here's what we're going to do. This is going to be a shake and pour because I don't need to strain it. So,
Oh, you brought a new bottle in.
here we go. Don't need you.
And I don't need you.
Did indeed. So this is really sort of in the grog family. I was about to make one, but I think I'll do one later. I want to use the grog ice cone, but I have to make them first.
Yeah.
This is going to start with, what am I starting with?
2 ounces dark,
Dark
Jamaican rum.
Why, I happen to have a fresh bottle of Myers right here. Perfect. Let's do that.
You can hand that back to me when you're done.
Don't mind if I do. My lovely co-host. And the handle actually has a handle. Not always the case with
Yes.
these big bottles. Try like a bottle
Indeed,
of
that
Altos.
it has a handle.
Your average big bottle of tequila doesn't. And
Gotta
it's
get your
kind of
workout somehow.
kind of a drag. I'm telling you.
Oh, the moles. Oh, I've
Moles.
never seen them. I know we have some mole holes, so I know we have them,
They're
but
around.
oh, yes.
They
I
do
get
eat.
it. Home ownership is
They do eat grubs and things, which are pretty problematic for your lawn. This is the spiced pear liqueur.
St. George.
From St. George.
Spiced pear.
Spiced pear.
Half ounce.
Half ounce. I need a half ounce also of Swedish punch. Now, the one brand on the market these days is Cronin, who put it back on the market. Swedish punch, for those not in the know,
I guess I should.
is a rum-based liqueur,
Yes,
which
I
is
should
highly
say Cronin.
spiced. So I'm adding 2 different spicy things to this. This is what's really going to punch it into the groggy stratosphere.
Groggy.
If you have a few of
The
these,
groggy stratosphere is a
if,
good.
if you have a few of these, you'll end up.
That's
in
a
the
good drink name.
You'll end up in the groggy stratosphere.
That's
So
I
there
was
we
gonna say
go.
that's a good drink name and a good band
Boom.
name. Groggy stratosphere.
Groggy stratosphere. I need 3/4 of an ounce of lime. I'm trying to counteract all that sweet stuff.
Man, it's
Bano.
man. Cronan.
Corinne.
Okay.
Okay, got it. And I'm taking 3
Oh my gosh.
dashes of the black walnut bitters
Julie
myself.
says there's a YouTube channel called Chunk the Groundhog with
Chunk.
cute videos.
Oh, hello. Boom.
There's a Staten Island Chuck,
Yes.
but Chunk sounds fun
I
too.
need those bitters, please.
Which one?
Walnut.
Oh, Marty
Thank
says
you.
my school has a rodent problem. The rumor is they're moles.
Okay.
Do
1, 2,
they
3.
really?
Make sure that's 3.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. What else goes in this? Anything? That's it.
I don't think so.
That's it.
I think you're all set.
There was one addition which I made later, which we can throw in there. Plenty of ice.
I love my hibernation sour.
Good thing to hibernate to. This is actually a larger one. You could easily make this as a cocktail and just use like that size
Yep.
cocktail glass. It'd be fine. There with ice.
Therapeutic wallow in the groggy stratosphere. Or stratosphere if you're a tangerine dream.
A stratosphere, yeah. Stratocaster if you're a guitar player. Anyway. Ondulane if you want that way out sound. And pour. No need to strain this because you're going to put this over ice anyway. That fits rather nicely.
look at that.
How about that?
Look at that
Now,
beautiful
last
pour.
minute addition that I suddenly thought of because I happen to have them was a lime shell, which is a real classic
Ooh,
sort of
It's
a
very Mai Tai-esque.
very Trader Vic kind of thing to do. We're going to throw a straw in on that. And what the heck? How about something that'll make it taste 73% better, a Velveteen Lounge Kitchen Swizz. And here we go.
I want to try it.
Oh, that's nice if I say so myself.
Hi, Joseph. Good
I'm
to
saying
see
so.
you.
So there you go. Boom. Hello. Good stuff. Hey, hello, Joss.
Oh, this is good.
Hi from Michigan. Excellent. Michigan, which is probably getting socked with all the cold we're about to get pretty hard. Well, we've heard it's been motoring over the OK there. So I'm sure you're getting it, and I'm sure it's going, bow woo, man. But you know what?
I know.
You all know how to keep warm there. You've been doing it, so that's cool.
That is good.
That's really good.
Did you create that?
I just whipped it up, yes. That's what I did.
Good for you.
A Velveteen Lounge original. I can make this tomorrow.
That is good.
This would be very good with like some beer bread or something.
I have a
That's
people
really fun
problem. Oh man.
Yeah,
I
this
get
this
it.
is, this is pretty
Going,
yum.
that one's
I would
good.
say that.
Going underground, he's calling it.
I
Yeah.
like this over the rocks because it's strong enough to stand some dilution, and it's got like a lot of spiciness to it. I really felt like, look, we're in it for 6 more weeks of cold to Arctic blast, probably. No matter what the rodent
That's the spirit.
does or says, you got more cold
That's
coming
the
your way.
spirit.
And certainly within
Yeah,
New York,
cold
we're
is
going to
coming.
we're going to be getting it through the end of March into April. Somewhere in there, it will start to crack, and all the tulips will start coming up again, saying hi, and there will be. Although we've also seen it like hail in April when we put up a greenhouse, and I was out there with a
it
space heater to keep everything
snowed in.
alive.
Was it you, Gettysburg Ma'am, who said that it snowed in May? I remember being on tour in a show in May, and it just snowed.
Just snowed.
Yep.
We moved into the house 20 years ago, end of March, and I get on the train in April, and it's sleeting like mad. I think I was literally slipping on the stairs of the train. It's like, what the hell?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that was also when we cranked on the heat to the house and realized this is totally inadequate. So that
Oh, our
got
heat doesn't work.
that got replaced that year. We literally had like what looked like a 1957 American Standard.
Oh,
Really cool looking device, but it was not up to the task, unfortunately.
Lisa says my yard could be the game Whack-A-Mole.
Ah! Oh no!
No.
I tell you, I need something to control the moles.
Joseph says, if I come out of my hole and I see my shaker, 2 more months of liquor. I like the cut of your jib.
You know what? I'm recommending 2 more months of liquor because we're certainly going to be on that diet. And,
Allergies, yeah.
you know, your physician may recommend. Just finished.
My doctor recommends cocktails.
Just finished a book that you got for me last birthday. I think it was.
I did.
And is it right?
I put it in the shelf. Would you like
in
it?
the shelf. Sure.
All
I'll
right,
take it.
I'll go get it.
You go get it,
Pardon
then
me.
I'll continue to rap with the folks here. It's a good thing.
Continue rapping.
I will try this again because it looks good. Yeah, that's a really nice thing. That's a great thing to have, and it's got a really beautiful color too. It's got a nice rounded redness to it, which is nice. Oi! But this guy I also like quite a bit. It has that sort of spicy balance to it, which is pretty cool. This is a little something called Doctors and Distillers. This is by Kemper English. You might have heard the name.
He's a big cocktail blogger.
Yeah, so he's been writing about this stuff for a long time. He says that this kind of grew out of the fact that he'd been researching various and sundry,
Night,
and
Joseph.
realized he had this. Hi, night, Joseph. Realized he had this huge set of notes, and he's like, I basically got a book, so he wrote it. And this is all about the history of distilling, alchemy, infusions, where the liquors came from, which ones were designed as remedies, basically all of them, and what they were considered, and even goes into some of the temperance movement, etc. And it's really fascinating, like how much of liquors were simply designed as medicine, like gin. How much of liquors were simply used as medicine, like whiskey. Vodka was certainly used. How much of it was used as things like antiseptic? It's like in a world covered entirely by water. In a world where you not only don't have like a standard lineup of antiseptics, but you have no idea about microbiology.
I get it.
How are you going to dress a wound? Well, like a shot of vodka was not a bad idea to clean things off with at 80 proof. And actually at the time it was probably more like 112 proof. So that's a pretty good idea. And then of course a shot for the victim because you got to do something, right?
I got it. I'm trying to find this book. Hold on.
And if
Keep talking.
if your water supply is extremely questionable, and it certainly was at the time, and if you lived in any typical European city in say the 14th century, bad news, man. You didn't want to drink anything resembling water from a well. You wanted that to be distilled or brewed, and then suddenly you had something you could deal with.
I'm trying to find this book that I read a while back.
Mm-hmm.
So keep going because
Well, just keep going on that.
I'm trying to find it because it was. No, I'm not trying to be funny. It was an eye opener because it was just about how much people drank back in the day.
A lot. And certainly once much cheaper stuff became available, you get into the sugar era, which unfortunately has a very sordid history, which we all know, being in the United States, that whole triangle trade. But at the time, you had three things happening. One is that a huge amount of sugar was being shipped to Europe because of all the plantations in the Caribbean, for instance. And even into like continental U.S., you had sugar happening. Mexico was growing sugar. Brazil was growing sugar. All of these places were growing huge amounts of it because the European sweet tooth was massive, and suddenly there was this great supply of this stuff. But you had this huge amount of waste product called molasses. What the hell did you do with that? You made rum bouillon. So that's where that came from. And then suddenly you had a huge supply of really cheap liquor because you're making this stuff out of waste product. Well,
I cannot remember what this book was called, but it was so fascinating.
Yeah.
It was just about how much people drank back when. And I just remember the era of like the robber barons where people would like wake up in the morning and then have like their shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'd go to breakfast and they'd have their breakfast cocktails.
Breakfast drink. Zip.
And then their like before lunch drink. And then their lunch drinks. And then their afternoon drink. And like by nighttime they'd had about 20 drinks during the
And then
day.
it's time for dinner. And you start with this bottle of wine and that bottle of wine. And you also have the aperitif, and then you have the post-aperitif. I mean, it goes on. It's intense.
It was nuts.
It's like I was reading something about the... Who am I thinking of? King Edward, who succeeded to the English throne like after his extremely long-lived mother actually expired. And he was like on the throne for about 5 or 6 years.
Hi, Arcade.
He
Good to see
basically
you.
dies of lung cancer, but from what? From the fact that he was smoking a huge amount of tobacco a day. And it was just all the like, oh, he's like on like 20 cigarettes a day, and he's on like 10 cigars a day kind of thing. It's like, okay, well, that's gonna do you in. It did that. And then there was that when we were watching, I think we watched an episode of the Crown where they were talking about Queen Elizabeth's father, who basically had a lung removed because of his cigarette habit.
I remember that.
Yeah. And I think like, you guys
Well,
are...
I wasn't there, but you know what I mean.
You people are smoking a little too much, just saying. And this is the thing. Not good for you. So, but that's the other classic, plantation product at the day. What's that line from John Lennon about cursing Sir Walter Raleigh?
I wish I could. Oh, you know
Yes.
what? Okay, talk.
I will talk.
I'm
shall
gonna.
we?
If this doesn't work in 90 seconds, I'll come back. But
Okay. Well, we'll wrap at you because
It would be if
we're
I could
still- we're
remember
still
the name of
talking
this
to you.
book, it would be entertaining.
It would be amazing.
But
Yeah.
okay.
Well, we'll see what we got. Okay,
Keep
so
going,
you got
keep
to go
going.
on. So,
All right,
so
all right.
anyway, I do recommend Doctors and Distillers Bacon. Doctors and Distillers, because it's actually a very entertaining read, and it's fairly anecdotal. He has this all arranged into little sections, and he deals with things like patent medicines. Well, those were fun. Interestingly enough, basically none of them were ever patented.
think
I
this
think
is gonna work.
maybe one, but very few of them actually were produced via patent. But many of them actually used that name because it was the idea that we have our secret formula. What
I can't
were
find
they?
it.
They were secret combinations of roots and herbs with like 110 proof hooch. And among other things, they were popular during the whole Prohibition era because, well, you could buy patent medicine. It was medicine.
I think you should have a whip sound to your sound machine every time Yellow says talk.
Talking. Well, I don't know about that. We cooperate around here. And of course, I have a number of sound
I like to
effects.
think we cooperate.
I have a number of sound effects that might actually be appropriate.
Oh,
Let's
no.
see.
Oh,
Here's a
no.
good one for you. Ow! Wowza. Anyway. But, the amount
I can't.
of...
I was trying to bring you an interesting book title, but I'll be damned if I
we
can
tried.
find it. I'll have to do a
Hey.
deeper dive later.
We'll find all the parts.
It was very entertainingly written, but
Yeah.
people drink a lot.
Well, for
back in
one,
the day.
again, if we're talking early 19th century, water quality is still not where it needed to be. This was still bad. Still no real understanding of microbiology. Still no Louis Pasteur. That came along eventually. And even when it came along, you had doctors being like, well, I don't think this is the case. Oh, like the deniers of their
Oh,
day,
I think
huh?
you're wrong.
That's a bunch of idiots of science,
Lisa's
right?
using the whip.
Yeah. But eventually people will start realizing, no, you actually have tiny organisms that are causing the problem. So if you start attacking that, you attack the problem. If you start sterilizing the water, suddenly it's safe to drink. Now, if you
You
make...
just fixed the glitch.
I fix the glitch. I mean, obviously, if you say, make beer, what do? You start by boiling the wort, like the whole mixture. Well, you take care of it right there. And then you also let the microorganisms you want to work go to town, well, the yeast, and that does. The great thing about yeast is it's like making cheese. You've got an organism that's extremely territorial. It will crowd out everything else. So you get the good bacteria to attack the milk, and suddenly you've got the camembert cheese, for instance. And you get the good bacterium to actually start attacking the malt, and you start making beer.
I like the
And
simplicity.
it actually completely eliminates the bad stuff. So
You get the good bacteria to attack the bad bacteria, and then you have camembert cheese. I
Well-
love that it's so simple.
it's pretty aggressive stuff. It will say like, no, we're here and we're going to kill everything else.
We all
This
put
is a
the
good idea.
yeast in.
It's a good idea. Yeah,
I love
put in the
it.
yeast. And of course, yeast is a naturally occurring product. We have yeast flowing around
Yeast
out
is
here right now.
yeast. West is west.
During lockdown, of course, people started making bread
on the map.
using natural yeast, and that is just sourdough bread. Now, there are people who will like have a sourdough starter that started in the 19th century. That's lovely, and I'm glad you do that. I would really enjoy sampling her bread. I'm probably not about to do that. We have made bread, not for a long time. It's a bit
You
labor
made
intensive.
bread last week.
Oh, this is true, like a beer bread, which uses a product with yeast. There you
Yes.
go. Yeah. So,
Beer bread is the yum.
I am thinking about sort of like
Oh,
a
Gettysburg
risen
ma'am, welcome
bread, not a
back.
batter bread. Hello. Yep.
Yay!
Well, please, I'm glad you grabbed something to eat
Gotta get
because
something to
you
eat.
all need to line the stomach
Yes.
before you. If you're joining along, like I'm listening to what you're doing, and I happen to have these liquors and I'm mixing, then put something in the stomach first. That's recommendable. We do. If we don't, we're in trouble.
We have
So,
smart viewers. I'm sure they are.
I'm sure they figured that part
sure
out.
they're
Absolutely.
eating.
Some of them make bread. Some of them probably make pasta, etc., etc. We've done both. You made bread when we had a bread machine. It was very good.
I miss having a bread machine.
Yeah. I mean, it conked out, and I was about to fix it, but like it was taking too long, so
It was also huge.
it went to the street. Now you can also just follow the instructions from.
It took up way too much space in our tiny kitchen, but it
Yeah.
was great. I
Yeah,
loved
one of
it.
these days kind of things.
But
But we also get the King Arthur catalog, and they're all
Yeah.
about teaching you how to make a great crusty loaf, and that's just a wondrous thing.
hi,
Great
Ben.
stuff.
Good
You talk
to
about,
see
like,
you.
Talk about like fresh made beer. How about fresh made bread? Now those are two
Oh.
things that go well together.
Ben says my niece had to regrow her sourdough starter from dried crust on a towel.
Oh.
That is impressive.
Wow. Now that's hardcore.
I'm impressed by that. Actually.
That's serious. I have done similarly labor intensive
Wow.
projects, so I can appreciate really. And you have made pasta, which is work. If you have the correct tools, it's less crazy work, but it's still like a lot.
Beer
of
bread
work.
is
a lot of labor.
so good.
A lot of labor, and you still have to, and once you're done with it, you have to dry it out a little bit on the hanging rack, and then you put it in.
I have
But
a-
I will tell you, the fresh pasta is so good.
I have a moderately
Wow.
entertaining story about that.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
I go. Cheryl says, I laugh when the salesmen say it's all natural. I remind them so is black mold and botulism. Exactly.
You know what's natural? Arsenic, also an element. Yeah. Not too happy if you ingest too much of that sort of thing.
Gettysburg Ma'am says this is the time of year we like to make slow cooker crock pot soups.
Now you're talking.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Large-
think I made a couple of soups.
Large
last
loaf of
week.
crusty
Yes,
bread.
Yes.
Some fresh butter, green salad, and one of those
Mm-hmm.
crock pot kind of things. Oh, that's a thing. I have a real weakness
Oh.
for like a really nicely made beef stew, beef barley stew.
Oh, Lisa says
wow,
I made
that's great.
brioche bread yesterday in my bread machine. I miss that.
Oh,
I do miss
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I have no place for a bread machine, but I miss that.
Brioche is,
Yeah.
is a nice heavy bread to make.
Oh, Irish
properly.
soda bread, I love. Yes.
Oh yeah, I haven't made that in ages, but I do make a good
Ben
Irish
says
soda
she
bread.
was thrilled because it contained Bay Energy that she took with her to
Back to Sacto.
Sacramento.
Bango.
Oh,
Excellent,
love
excellent.
that.
Well, Sacramento needs a little Bay Area energy.
I think
after
you need
all.
a crock pot, Eric. Everyone needs a crock pot.
I will tell you this. At this point in time, get one of those Instant Pot things. It's a crock pot slow cooker. It's a fast pot pressure cooker. It'll make yogurt. And you can get an attachment to turn it into an air fryer.
I love my Instant
So
Pot.
you can do all those things.
I love my Instant Pot, but you could just get a crock pot too. It's a lot cheaper.
Well, you get the Instant Pots themselves, either the actual
chicken
brand or all of the
tacos.
knockoffs. Those prices have come way down. I've even seen them over at
Peter
the thrift.
says, I have a weakness for tortillas. We make our own tortillas. Peter,
They're
you'll have to come over
really-
sometime and have.
Tortillas are
Tortillas.
super easy to make. You've got masa, you've got water. There
Yep.
you go.
Literally 2 ingredients.
You should have the tortilla press, although you can make them by hand. People did for centuries.
Mm.
But the press is your friend, and they're easily found at your local market. Not a big deal. And you
Oh,
need
Eric.
the tortilla warmer, but that's not a big deal
An
either.
air fryer is a good investment. I recommend
Honestly?
it. Yeah.
It's actually a good device because of the fact that you can rehydrate the beans in about an hour.
Beer, chili, and cornbread. Yes, homemade tortillas. It's so easy and so good.
They are
Yes.
fantastic flavor. They taste so good and fresh.
We took a cooking class in Mexico.
Correct.
One day cooking class.
One day, yeah.
It's not like we flew down there for 6 months and
And we
took a
learned
class.
how
No,
to cook.
It was
No,
a one-day
we
cooking
learned
class,
how to cook
but
a
it was
bunch of stuff
so great.
very quickly. Had
So great.
fantastic instructors, and I remember they were also
Yes.
passing around some tequila, and he's like, "Here's a really good economical brand, El Jimador," which we're like,
Well,
"Oh,
he
we
knew
love
everyone
El
was
Jimador."
on vacation, so
Yeah,
you know.
but definitely. But like they actually the wife of the family there was teaching how to do various and sundry, and she said everyone's going to come and make tortillas because they're very easy.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, her advice was don't get them too thin. We're used to very thin tortillas because you get them in a packet of 30. But if they're made by machine, that's easy. But it's easier to make them slightly thicker. And in Mexico, you have lots of thickness.
We're getting a lot of those
tortilla.
for the air fryer. I'm
Yep.
just saying.
And you need a really, really hot flat iron. You
Beer,
can have
chili,
an actual
and
comal, but you
cornbread
can also
sounds
just have
amazing.
an iron
Just
pan.
saying.
That's a good thing. The air fryer, and yeah, like I've actually we've made fries with it recently. They're just fantastic.
Yeah.
They use very little oil. It's a lot easier and less mess than the deep fryer, which we have as well. Have had one of those for a very
We
long
haven't
time.
pulled that out in a long time.
We haven't pulled it out in a long time. I don't feel a real need to whip out the air fryer, no, to whip out the deep fryer.
Yeah.
Since we have an air fryer.
Right.
And since I've been making fries on the grill too, I made them just yesterday. And, or was that today?
That was today.
That was today.
Time flies.
But I make them on the big flat iron on the
Tempest
grill.
Fugits.
The Tempests do fugit, after all.
Tempest Fugits.
But they're just fantastic. And I'm just doing that on this piece of iron on the grill. And you can do that on your stovetop. But you can also do it in the air fryer. It does it very quickly. About 15 minutes, you got fries.
This was so good.
And they're basically the same exact fries you would get from all those other places. A lot less oil. So it's less expense for you. Less fat, blah, blah, blah. So that's a good thing.
Would you mind
I don't mind at all.
reaching behind you, grabbing a Yingling?
I don't mind at all.
Thank
Shall
you.
we?
I'm gonna not make another cocktail because I don't want to make bad decisions.
Happen to have a beer over there. So there we go.
Oh.
But here's the thing. Now,
Wait. Arnie and Doug need to break in their outdoor grill to see. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, there's an excellent idea. A few years back.
Bacon and fries in my air fryer, yes.
Oh, now you're talking. Yep. That's the
Fried
stuff.
onion rings, so good.
I actually like onion rings about like.
Night, Peter.
Hey, Night Peter. Absolutely, you swing too, my friend.
I'm having a Yingling.
Recommendation: get a Thurman. So
or talk to Paul. I'm gonna add some.
If you would like to have an even better price on one, talk to me about building a Theremin because, you don't have capacity, but I do.
I'm adding some black walnut bitters to my.
If you buy the kit, I would build you a pie of Theremin.
beer.
Yeah.
David's
think that- I
asking,
find
can you
it
make
highly
bacon in
entertaining.
the air fryer? I don't
Oh, yeah.
see why not.
I don't see why not. Sure.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Absolutely. And it will render all that fat into like the lower pan, and you
Exactly.
can use that
That's kind of what everyone
the
loves
next
about
time you want
it,
to make
you know?
breakfast. But you could really put together like a lot of it. It'll probably take about
Oh, Lisa
15 or
did this
20
morning.
minutes.
There you go.
Well, there
All
you go.
right.
There you go. You see, the audience has the answers. And boom.
Exactly.
The air fryer, it does a lot of things. Now, it's not a slow cooker or anything. But just suppose.
Oh, Gettysburg Mam's done it too.
Yeah.
And it's less greasy.
Because it all renders out.
I love it.
It's like doing Spam on the grill. I do it for a really long time. So it just renders a lot of fat. It all runs away and kind of dries out a bit. If you get one of the Instant Pot type devices, you can also get the attachment that turns into an air fryer. And a friend of ours actually has one. And we tried making fries. They were just spot on. So that works fine.
I'm sure it's amazing. And again, I love my Instant Pot. But if you have the counter space, I feel like an air fryer is just a great standalone
It does a number of things.
Appliance.
A number of things very well. If you're what you're trying to do is get
Small
things
appliance.
crispy, and it's supposing you're having a party or something, you just want to do some apps, and you're like, "Oh, I got this stuff from Trader Joe's."
Apps.
Throw it in there, 10 minutes, boom, done. Yeah,
Exactly.
less time and energy than
Although-
firing up your entire oven.
Oh,
So,
yes,
you bear that in
great
mind.
for reheating. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Fantastic.
I have to say, though, that I wouldn't mind whatever would make it 2 levels.
Yeah, you can
We
get a
don't
little-
have that.
That's a good thing if you're making fries because you can make 2 batches
Yeah,
at once.
exactly.
And they'll
or
cook just fine.
like anything that calls for 2 levels.
I mean, really, it's
You
just
know,
sort of a compact convection oven.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
There's also as soon as these things came out, immediately all of the companies that were making the little toaster ovens put a fan in it and made it a convection oven, and suddenly that thing really works better. Like our replacement oven from a few years back has the fan, and it cooks a lot faster,
Lisa says,
or even 2.
I love doing bacon in my air fryer. Less messy, and I don't get flaked with hot grease.
Oh, jeez.
That is a plus.
Yeah, seriously.
That is a plus.
We have a tendency these days. We actually stock the turkey bacon, and we make that a lot less fat to begin with, and I just make that on the
I
grill
actually
top.
really like it.
I think it's actually
gonna
well
lie.
done and it's a good flavor.
Not gonna lie, I like
we
it.
don't shy away from pork bacon if you have a recipe. and
Oh,
we
you
need
can
to
do
that,
2 levels
but
with a small rack. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
yeah. I would like for fries. I'd like a rack that has like cross hatches so things don't fall through, of course. But I think you can buy specialty parts that fit this thing and work just fine. Ours is
Oh.
actually made by I forget who makes ours.
Dash.
Oh yes, yeah, Dash, who makes our waffle iron as well, and that's actually a really great device.
Dime
With
is
the
saying
Unique.
much more even cooking with convection.
Yeah.
We do. We have convection now.
Yeah.
We did not for many, many years.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, the oven has it, and the first year that I made Thanksgiving dinner, you went out to do some shopping and whatnot, and I'm calling you saying come home because food is done.
yeah, he's like,
It was done literally an
"Come
hour
home,
earlier.
Dinner's ready.
Hello.
We're like,
If you're making like
Okay.
an 18-pound turkey, that's a big difference. It
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
really good revelation, and everything was very evenly cooked, very nice. Just move the heat around.
oh, it's
It's
I
all
love
about
it.
moving
I
the heat
love it.
around.
Yep.
And if at the end of the day what you're doing is you're putting a $10 fan in the back of the oven, hello,
It was 7
2 snaps.
quart Gettysburg, man.
Hello.
7 quart
Well, now
air
you're
fryer.
talking.
I'm assuming. Yes.
Can you make kurchki? I don't see why you could not.
I don't see why not.
I don't see why you could not
Yeah.
make any deep fried item should be available for an air fryer
Exactly.
because all you're doing is using convection currents to cook it. You do usually if you're making fries, for instance, you toss them with oil and then toss them in, so you coat everything properly. Well, that's what I've done for years with the griddle, and I just turn the fries a few times on the flat top. It works fine. They never get that crispy, but they're delicious. In an air fryer, they will get that crispy.
I love that we're getting so many votes for the air fryer.
Yeah,
We got ours just about a year ago now, and I love it. It's great.
it's great for on-air cooking too. If we want to whip something like a little snackule up for
Next week.
while we're
Next week.
yakking with you, because it's noisy as hell, but it actually only takes about 15 minutes, and then we're done, and that's very cool. We've done Spam in there on air. You've seen it. It was a lot of fun. We get these specialty cans. I think the last thing we did.
The figgy
The
pudding.
figgy pudding
oh,
Spam.
God.
I know many of you are still questioning this whole concept and the sanity of figgy pudding, but honestly, I thought that was pretty well deployed.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Oh, Gettysburg Mammoth thing is next week heart themed. Yes, because it's my
Yes,
birthday month, and my birthday is Valentine's Day. So
Hello.
we will be leaning hard into Valentine's Day. And I know a lot of people are Valentine's Day haters. So I'm here to change that. Not because I think you should be into romance and hearts and stuff, but because it's my birthday month. So we'll find something that people can lean into.
And the simple fact is, on this show, we promote more love and less of all that other stuff that people are doing these days.
Exactly.
So hey,
And I
we're
just
big
think
fans.
about when I think about when I was younger, much much, much younger. And I remember that there used to be a thing in my school where people could buy carnations. It's like you could buy carnations and send them to someone. And it was like, that was just so fraught. Because it's like, will anyone buy me a carnation? And there were people who would. They would buy you a carnation and send it to you. And it was such a relief, really.
Oh.
I'm like, oh my God. Someone sent me a carnation. And
I used to get carnations a lot as flowers if I needed a bouquet of flowers
sweet.
because they're pretty, they smell good, and they were a much better price than roses back when I didn't have a lot of money. Actually, I still don't have a lot of money, and I still like to give carnations. So there we go. We have some questions about pierogies.
Oh.
They are both boiled and fried. Now, if you're making them from scratch, like I made dough, I boiled potatoes, I filled them and all that. I've seen people do that. Heavily labor intensive.
I gotta give it up to Lisa.
Heavily
though.
labor intensive.
Lisa also
but-
dehydrates fruit in the winter with our
yeah.
dehydrators. For the longest time, I had a dehydrator on my wish list, and the only reason I took it off is because I have literally no room for it. So it's like, where would I put a dehydrator? But I love that idea so much.
We've actually seen them at the thrift. I mean, we might as well just pick one up one of these days.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
What, and put it where?
Yeah. We actually got rid of we sold our juicer, which we'd had for ages. I'd used it a few times. I really had never used it as much as I might have. I recall that it was a lot of work to clean it. And as much as I might support such things, I can also go to the supermarket and get some green juice with 20 things in it. That's very healthy, and maybe that's good, you know. And you know, as much as I could juice garlic with it, or not garlic, juice. What am I thinking of? No.
Is it like
Ginger.
garlics?
If
I
as
was
much as
gonna
I could,
say, like,
it is not
onions?
As much as I could juice ginger with it, which is a good idea. I can also buy ginger juice, and there's also the ginger extract. So it's like, I probably
Oh,
don't need
Dime
that.
says you can dehydrate in the Instant Pot.
Oh, hello. Now you're talking.
All
See?
right, I have a new hobby.
New uses. New uses.
Okay, all right. Maybe next week I will dehydrate some things in the
Mm-hmm.
Instant Pot because I'm all about doing that now.
There we go. Oh, that's hilarious, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, so there were. Now we're talking.
Geez, she immediately went to her water bowl and rehydrated it. No, I love
This is
it.
what you do with dried fruit. Bingo. So the
I love the Instant Pot.
pierogi producing method here. Boil them. You boil them to cook them, and then you fry them to give it that crispiness. And you want to throw a bunch of onions in there too, because you want to get those like dry. And if the onions actually start getting kind of like black, that's kind of the really. That's kind of like if you have a Ukrainian restaurant near you. You probably don't.
I was going to say I miss
We used to go to Cafe Kiev in New York.
Kiev and
Ukrainian place.
Veselka.
Oh yeah, those places were.
Oh my gosh, I miss
awesome.
those places. The food was
Those
so good.
the best chicken soup ever, and the pierogi. Oh wow, those were killer. So I miss that a lot. Those are just great. And we
Errol
haven't
wants
made
to
them in a
make
long time.
ginger beer.
Oh, excellent idea.
Ooh,
Excellent idea.
I love that idea.
I remember trying it back in the 1980s with my mother, and we didn't have the correct stuff, so it never really worked. But it's not that hard to actually brew.
Ginger beer or ginger ale?
Ginger beer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But I liked ginger beer because there was one commercial product available at the time. I believe it was Old Time, which was very good. And to my mind, that's the standard by which I measure all other ginger beers, because it has to be exactly that hot. You got to get that burn. And if I'm feeling like I felt for the past
I feel that
10
way about
days,
Goya.
yeah. But Goya?
Ginger beer? Was it Goya? What is the one that's super, super hot?
Goya was pretty hot.
Yeah.
They definitely had a real
Yeah.
burn on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I wish they used real sugar in their product. They should, because I would definitely use it. But you also have some excellent other ginger beers out there.
So I don't buy it. I don't buy it, but I
There's
don't
there's
purchase it. I mean, but yeah.
There's some very good brands on the
Yeah.
market these days. A lot of soda companies are making a ginger beer, and it's just like it's a ginger ale with a much hotter kick. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's what I like. Mm-hmm. Certainly, if my throat is feeling all kind of like messed up as it has for days now, it's like, that helps. Definitely makes you feel better. Ginger's medicine.
Goslings. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Goslings makes an excellent ginger beer. Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, definitely. And they've actually got this sort of patent on the dark and stormy. Well, you can make a dark and stormy with whatever you want. But Goslings insists you need to have Goslings.
Hold on. You got to read this. Gettysburg Ma'am says, okay, so question. Is anyone actually going to wake up at the crack of dawn to see if they'll predict the weather? Because this old gal will be fast asleep.
Out! Out cold.
I sincerely hope to be fast asleep. I don't know. My sleep schedule is so weird now.
Oh, it's totally messed up.
But-
For years now, I've just been messed up. At 4 a.m. I wake
Yeah.
up, bolt upright. Hi. And I'm awake for hours. Well, when I used to have to get up at 5:30 to go to work, that was terrible. It would just screw me up for ages. And ever since the past few years, I suddenly realized, well, if you go back to sleep, which I was doing, you kind of even it out. So that wasn't so bad. Also, if I don't have too many of these things in the evening, it's a very good idea.
Yeah, you got to limit.
Because
so.
that messes things up for sure.
Have to watch Phil on reruns. No pun intended.
Yep, seriously.
Oh.
But definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. Every day's different. I might be awake.
One day at a time.
Asleep,
One day at a time.
And it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter. Like, do you drink? Do you don't drink? Doesn't matter.
A little more Irish over here because, hey, it's available.
Getting your Irish up.
Get my Irish up. Well, within no time.
Oh, Eric
we'll be
says my
talking
sleep
about that.
schedule is weird too. I know.
It's all messed up. It's all messed up. You get to a certain point that I was reading something about sleep because I wanted to kind of figure out what the hell is going on with my sleep, and I got a really good book about it from the library, and it had a lot of interesting information, but at the end of the day, their advice was, we really don't know why people sleep. And if if people are actually deprived of sleep enough, they'll probably die. You will certainly get loopy.
Oh, good.
You'll get if you're deprived
Awesome.
if you're deprived of sleep enough, you'll absolutely lose rationality.
Well, I don't
And
think I'm that deprived.
You'll just hallucinate. And I've seen people do it who are just on like an endless jag. It's not good. And it's the same if you try to push it. It's like, well, I'm just going to do speed and keep awake. You will absolutely
Now,
hallucinate. It's not good.
I have the
You'll
luxury.
freak out. Not good.
Many days. I have the luxury many days of being able to just wake up when I wake up and sleep when I sleep. So.
It's good to be able to do that.
But they say that, oh no, you should wake up at the same time every day, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, screw that. Wake up when you wake up.
Can't even.
If you happen to say, I need a little more, and you get it, that's good.
Ooh, wait, hold on. If I were a groundhog and you woke me up at the crack of dawn in front of thousands of people, you may not see my shadow, but you may see
You'll see a
That's
digit
kind
anyway.
of how I feel about it.
You'll see a
actually.
digit, that's for sure. Oh.
Opened for homemade beers.
Bad.
Apparently.
Flat beer.
Oh no! Oh yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Eric's saying, do you ever listen to the podcast Radio Lab?
No.
I haven't.
Never have. Is that
Should we?
about
Should we?
electronics? Or is that about music? Or what's going on?
Oh,
I'm thinking of the band Stereo Lab, which I just heard the other day. So
Oh.
that's probably different.
oh, Lisa says that's my 88-year-old mother. I know.
That's too true.
I know. Oh,
and
Times says
Errol
if I
knows
get 4 hours of sleep, it's a good night. Oh, man, I know.
3-hour
I know,
bursts
right?
is actually what we all sleep in. And if you are able to sort of wake up and then go back to sleep and get another 3 hours, that's a very rational sleep schedule. So, but the kicker to my mind is if you wake up and then you're awake for a while, but then you have to get up and go do stuff, that's going to screw you up.
Yeah.
So, regulating that is very important.
Yeah.
And our society, of course, has been based on things like 9 to 5 schedules for way too long. That's extremely unnatural. It's really, really, it's really bad and damaging to you to actually do that.
I gotta.
And our society is all about that kind of stuff.
You gotta
Let me
read two
finish
of
my
these.
rant.
No, I'm going to let you finish your rant.
Let me finish the rant. I'm just
after your
talking
rant,
about this
I gotta
stuff.
get something in.
Yeah, please do.
Go ahead and rant.
School is like that, work is like that, and it's extremely bad for society. And I'm just going to say it's not a good idea. And teenagers, like, high school years, you're supposed to get to school at like 7:30. Teenagers like are on a sleep schedule where they're up late and they wake up later. It's totally stupid. And there was a thing, the book I was reading talked about like any school district that decided to shift that later, test scores improved. But then the school districts wouldn't actually do anything about it. I'm like, well, that's because you're idiots. So that's it. Rant off. We sleep terribly in this country because of really stupid ideas that people had 200 years ago. Anyway.
I feel like we need like a la or something around you after that.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. No,
right.
no such thing as sleep in the military. No, there really isn't.
Oh, jeez.
No, I was reading about that too.
I get it. Okay,
No.
Gettysburg Ma'am says it's crazy the amount of people who go up there to see him come out of the hole. It's a whole production.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that.
I believe that for sure.
Yeah,
That's a thing.
Yes, because they just I'm thinking of like the Today Show or whatever, where it's like
It's in a
Punxsutawney
crew.
Phil. Yeah, okay. So
Everyone has to show up and do this one thing one day.
Dean says reminds me of Kowalski hallucinating and vanishing point.
Well, yeah,
feel
Kowalski is on basically about like a 14-day jag.
Lisa says we
where
need
he
a
hasn't
drink.
slept. Oh, we do, don't we? Well,
I'm good.
you're good.
Do you want?
I'm going to ramble for a second
want
and
a
I'll figure something
Yingling?
else.
You can
I'll
have a
figure
Yingling,
it out. Figure
too.
it out.
No,
All right.
I was going to say. What was I going to say? Oh, sleep schedules. I think the thing that has been saving me lately is if I wake up too early or whatever, and I think I'd like to get another session in. I think I'm training myself to do that. So it's like I'd like to sleep for another
45
cycle.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, a cycle is what I'm thinking. Like, I'm kind of like, I'll sleep for a cycle. And then I'll wake up and say, like, do I want another cycle? Do I not want another cycle? And it's a real luxury to be able to do that. And I'm aware of that. But it's kind of getting me through.
So yeah, sleep. What I had read in the book. I mean, it's as far as anybody who researches this can tell, it's how we organize our thoughts for the day. So if you don't get it, or if you are deprived, and we have some military personnel talking about that. The military is like, you're going to get up, you're going to go to sleep, you're going to eat, you're going to do these 5 things during the day. Bang, 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 bang. Which is entirely unnatural, and you're gonna be awake for extremely long stretches of time, and you're supposed to make extremely critical decisions. Like, we're going into an exercise here, and you need to be able to like launch this weapon properly. That's not a good idea if you've had no sleep. And you hear about things like, well, there was mistakes were made. That's when they were made. And the military actually has studied how to handle this and how to actually moderate this, and basically has done what the schools do, made no decision. Just keep pushing them. I was reading stories about like soldiers who are basically chewing on coffee beans to stay awake. Crank the caffeine, crank the caffeine, crank the caffeine, crank the caffeine. It's like, wow, that's just bad, man. If you ever hear about bad decisions made during those conditions, that's it. And the leadership is just pushing it because they're just like, screw it. And I'm like, well, that's not good for whoever is serving under you. And whoever who is watching right now, knows too well.
Okay, so Gettysburg Ma'am says, especially when it's frigid cold, people at their 5 a.m. standing around drum fires dancing to polka music. It's fun, but I'm happier watching from my couch. I would be happier watching from my couch, too. Coast, Paul and Kelly. Lisa can get her own drink. Oh, I know that. I know that feeling.
Pardon me.
I know that feeling. I'm sitting on the sofa going, my back is out.
Oh,
Paul's
I'm
like,
sympathetic.
good luck getting a drink.
I
Yeah.
don't say that at all.
Not
No,
out
no,
loud.
no.
You don't say it
I
out
don't.
loud.
I get you something when your back hurts. You do it for me. Come on, absolutely.
You don't say it out loud.
But I hear that too. The simple fact is you got to take care of people.
Oh my gosh, 2 hours on and 2 hours off for a month. Wow, that's crazy.
That's somebody's stupid idea of
can't
how
even
to
imagine that.
run things, and I
can't
think
even
this is where really bad mistakes get made, and then you have to have this like long like decompression afterwards about like, oh, this is what went wrong. What went wrong is we were trying to make people make rational decisions on 2 hours of sleep. There you go.
Jeez.
Yeah, big surprise.
We're trying to make people act like robots. Anyway.
Yeah, well, we can bear in mind that, the amphetamines were popular drugs for a different military during the 1940s. Not good.
Oh, Gettysburg Ma'am says, how's Ellen Waite's post-production going?
It's coming.
Oh, thank you for asking.
Thank you so much. It is, parts of it have
so
been
well.
kind of slow, but it also accelerated during January, and to the point where we actually contracted with a colorist.
It's being color graded.
And
it's out of our hands now.
Who is actually handling all that. It has to be completely deconstructed and reconstructed.
I mean, we
Software, man, but
we have the final say.
Yeah. Of course
but this guy's a pro, so
he's a real thing. We're paying him well, and
trust
he's got the time to do it.
It will be amazing, and I'm
will look
hoping
right.
to finish it soon.
And he's also working fairly close to us, so we can drop on by, say hi, take a look, and say, do this and do this, please.
Thank you.
So,
yeah. It's so in the last stages. But of course the last stages are taking a lot of time.
I'll put it this way. We will actually...
Oh, thank you.
We will deliver a product that's worth the wait, because...
It will be good.
We've seen it. It is, and we're just making it look pro. To do what we're doing with it, it has to look a little better.
I've seen it like 8,000 times, and I'm not sick of it. So,
well, you were a good script.
I feel like that's but I feel like that's saying something because if I've seen it that many times and I'm still not like, oh my god, please kill me if I ever have to watch this again. I'm not saying that. So
you wrote a good script, which meant that your actors had something real to say. You hired good actors, and they're real, like, serious actors. They really put something into it. We built a great set, and like I've told this on the air before, when the actors dropped into that set, they were like, "Where are we?" It was just like
that was funny.
It was like this sort of a weird place. And then I kept pointing out to people, read the labels on the products, because you had all these details that you would never even see. And I think people just got into it.
Gettysburg Ma'am says, I'm sure you enjoyed it, but it will be nice to kick up your feet when it's all over. I keep telling Paul, I'm like, I need a vacation.
Except that once you're done with project number 1,
I know.
you immediately move on to number 2.
I know.
Production never ends.
I know.
But once you've actually got something that has some
I want a vacation.
Oomph and some impetus.
I'm not gonna lie.
It is really good to have.
I'm not gonna lie.
And it drives the rest of the story, no question. It is good to actually say, look, I've got something I can show people. And then, like, they can take a look and say, oh, yeah, and go from there.
Yep.
And, I know full well that, like, some people we show this to, some people we have already showed this to just didn't really get it. And I'm like, all right, well, that happens. And some people will absolutely lock into it. And that's it.
Yep.
You will know where your fans are. So.
Oh, Gettysburg Ma'am, I don't actually know yet. We need to enter it in festivals. Some festivals have a rule that you have to be, their festival has to be the first place it's viewed. Now, if we don't get into any of those festivals, then we can debut it somewhere else. So it's going to be a short amount of time while we figure this out. But yeah, we will let you know ASAP because I want people to see it.
There will have to be a way that we can put this up in a sort of a private viewing venue. I mean, all of the platforms we deal with have such a function. And as long as that doesn't violate the rules of what we're trying to do in a larger sense, then we'll be able to do that and get you a link.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't want to screw up our debut because if you screw up your debut, it's just all over for you.
Well, you just spent a lot of money for what?
Yeah.
And I know we can't just like throw it up on YouTube, but we should be able to. We should be able to put this somewhere that you can see it.
That's so sweet, Lisa. Thank you. Lisa says, I'm glad I get to experience it with you guys. Thank you. I'm glad you do too.
I know.
Oh, Errol says, how do you guys get any sleep? Oh, you going? Oh, Lisa's horoscope. Oh wait, that's Glendora. I know.
Well, it's good to have
Oh.
it's good to have the cousin drop in and do some production
See,
from time
Ellen,
to time.
wait.
I'm just saying.
And wait. And wait.
Anticipation. Boom, boom.
Oh, I'm excited for
Make
you to
me wait.
see it too.
Yeah.
Oh.
A labor of intention, of love, of course.
Yeah.
But there's really a lot of intent to put together all of the parts that we need to make this look real. And honestly, I've been really pleased with the results we've had so far. You hire a good DP, and
Director of photography.
Yep.
He means.
and his price was not bottom dollar, but was something that we negotiated and was very good. And he delivered great results. Looks
Yep.
fabulous. Looks fabulous.
Yep.
You have a good sound system. Hello, my department. It sounds great. It sounds absolutely great. And we put in just a bunch of additional sound and effects. Our good buddy Dan actually
More interesting than Andy
provided
Warhol's
some music.
Empire.
Oh, good grief.
Oh yeah.
Well, you got two concepts to chew on here. Andy Warhol's Empire, which is about 7 hours of the Empire State Building, and then you've also
Ours
got
is much shorter.
you've got the Andy Warhol 4 Asterisks movie, 24 hours of movie from 1967. That is a bunch of people yakking on amphetamines forever, and apparently this was dual screen, so you had two screens of people just like screaming at you. This sounds
Oh, thank
really
you,
out to
Gettysburg,
lunch.
ma'am.
That's a Warhol picture. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So that's that for that.
So,
Jack. Well, let's contemplate. Oh, yes, I think one of these glasses will make things taste much better.
all right.
These glasses are still available. If you do not have a set, talk to us. We'll go from there.
I like the way he fit that in.
You've got to get some advertisements in. There are several ways in which you can support the show. Some of you are already doing it. There was a mention about horoscopes. Well, that's a lovely little thing that you get if you subscribe to a certain thing up on Patreon. You can also just go to Amazon and buy stuff by starting at our store. And
Should I share my banner?
share the banner.
Oh, I made a banner for her Amazon store.
We do have an Amazon store with a lot of products.
I don't know how
that
this is. I've never tried to
very
share a banner before.
Germane. You'll try that out. And
Oh,
if
look
you-
at that. I just shared
If you
it.
buy any of the product, then obviously we get a cut of that. But here's the kicker. We said this before too. If you go to Amazon and you start at our store and then you just go somewhere else and buy whatever you want to do.
If you're inclined to shop at Amazon.
If you're inclined to shop at
I know
Amazon.
some people are not.
I know. It happens.
I respect that.
But if you start at our store and just do anything else on Amazon and purchase something, we will still get a share of that.
I just
Does
hit
not
it.
have to be in our store. Now, if you're also saying, look, there's a cool product that I think is pretty useful to your, viewers.
Oh, I will
Would
link
you-
it in the chat. All
Would
right.
you put
I'm
that
gonna
in your
link
store?
it right
Yeah,
now.
we'll put that in our store.
All right.
So,
Hold on. I gotta hold on.
I'm going to dose up my beer just a little bit.
I'm gonna put it on both. This is probably
Little lemon.
antiquated, but I'm gonna put it on both YouTube and Facebook because
You need to do that.
I'm not sure it's going to both places.
It is not.
But,
You have
all
to
right.
drop it both places.
All right, hold the bus.
We see it on our end both places
Hold the
because
bus.
our software is pulling it all in. But you don't if you're on one of these platforms.
Yes.
'Cause
Okay.
you're only seeing
Oh,
most of
thank
one.
you. Yes. So if you start in our store, even if you don't buy a single thing from our store, we still get a commission.
We have a fun curated list. This one took care of that list of cocktail paraphernalia and publications and all sorts of stuff and things which are as useful to our show. I think we have a pebble ice maker in there too. And if you're like, well, I'd really like one of those, take a look. Maybe
I
you
love
find something
this.
good.
I love
And
this.
hold on, just want to
Okay,
finish
all
one
right,
thing
all
here.
right, all right.
And if you start with that, that's great. But if you're like, well, I'm just shopping for like these other things, it doesn't have to be in our
Doesn't
store.
matter.
Just start at our store.
Does not matter.
It will help us. And as a matter of fact, we just got like a payment from them the other day, which was a not small amount. It was actually pretty good. So that it
It
helps.
was respectable.
It helps. We're just
I
trying
just-
to do a show here.
Errol says it is funny. I know horoscopes are usually general to fit in with one's life, but occasionally when Glendora reads one, we laugh because it's more fitting than you might think. Exactly.
Hilarious.
Exactly. I just think about what Penn and Teller did about horoscopes, and they were
geez.
not fans.
On
but,
yeah, well, their show, of
but
course,
you've
is
got
called.
Glendora reading it, so whatever, you know.
Their show starts with a B, and you know where that's going. Their show is pretty hilarious. I don't always agree with them, but horoscopes, they were spot on. It seems to be based on mumbo jumbo, but from time to time, when you read it, you're like, no, wait a minute.
Yep, exactly.
It's kind of hilarious when that happens.
Exactly.
It's sort
and
of
you know,
like
who
you know,
knows?
it's sort of like pulling tarot cards, where sometimes it's just spot on, and you think, okay.
Exactly.
But
Who
there you go.
knows?
Having done that within the past year, I got to say, okay, it's all part of the entertainment, people. It's the kind of thing. And Glennie, of course, just has a very particular tone in which she reads these things, which is also part of the course. You know, part of the course.
It's Glendora's birthday month too. I'm just saying.
That is true.
It's not just my birthday month, it's Glendora's birthday month.
As I recall, I think she's one day younger than you, and
Shut up.
she always reminds you of such things.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Lisa recently went through her site. Oh, Dime says I love Glendora's horoscopes. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. You are a more recent subscriber to such things. I'm glad that you're actually getting the attention from such. And of course, you are a different sign than some of our other subscribers. So, hey, new stuff.
Henry says, I played poker with tarot cards and 4 people died.
Ah!
Oh, boy.
Remember, the tower looks like the worst card in the world, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to fall from the tower and crash and burn. It just means that
It doesn't mean you won't.
specific aspects
but-
of your life may be causing you grief. Well, you know what? Specific aspects of your life might be causing you grief at any particular point in time. It's
That's
true.
true.
It's true.
That's true. It might not be the cards.
It might not be the cards. And there's always a way to deal with it. There's always a way. That's very true.
I'm just thinking about Glendora. It's about time for her to start nagging me, isn't
About?
it? Being younger. She's one day younger.
She will always be, wasn't she? Yeah. Of course, one day is one day. You can always point that out to her. You know.
I know.
A day, huh? Oh yeah, big stuff.
I'm younger. I'm younger and cuter.
That's debatable. So.
Anyway.
So.
What would happen if you used tarot cards playing?
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, jeez.
I played a game of Uno once with tarot cards, and strange things happened.
I bet.
Play tarot cards while actually running the Ouija board and see what happens. Big fun, you know.
No.
And then I was reading some Edgar Casey predictions, and yeah, none of that occurred. Yeah. All I can say is don't read books about UFOs like late at night because you'll have weird dreams. I have. Anyway, but certainly the books that I
Although
was reading.
sometimes I want weird dreams. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night with racing thoughts, and it's like, I would like to dream about anything else. So it's like, if I could have UFO dreams, that might be okay.
Well, I could loan you the books. I was thinking
Okay.
about, what was that? Who was the guy? Frank Edwards published a bunch of books in the 50s.
Oh, thank
They
you,
are
Gettysburg ma'am.
Total BS.
And Lisa, thank you.
Entertaining at best.
Thank you.
But, I remember reading them being kind of freaked out as a teenager. So that was a long time ago. Earring supplies. Oh, yeah. No, that's a good thing. Because there's
Burlesque
all this
poker
stuff's
show.
available, and you need a lot of earring supplies. So,
How can you properly spend your youth when you can't really save up for it in the first place? Oh,
a burlesque poker show just reminds me of seeing various things about Bob Fosse, who grew up in that atmosphere and had some, some very sordid sexual experiences
yeah,
within
watch
that period.
Fosse Verdon.
Fosse Verdon, also all that jazz shows you some of these
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
and I think that kind of screwed him up for life, and really affected his work. Now, when the work was spot on, it was amazing, and the fact is that those two made incredible work, but they were both
Yeah.
Both incredible artists who had very complicated lives. But the show from what's about a year and a half ago now, actually
It was a while back.
great performances.
Couple years
we
ago,
just saw
anyway.
Michelle Williams in something else, but she's
The
really
Fablemans.
oh yeah, Fablemans.
Yeah, we saw her in the Fablemans.
She's excellent in Fosse Verdon.
Yep.
So
Yep.
definitely recommend it if you haven't seen that. So
Well, she's
there you
great in Fablemans too. But,
But it's suddenly
but
like
anyway, screwed him up for life, you say, Paul.
no, it really did. He was just admittedly messed up.
Oh,
he was just like a complete addict for a number of things, including unfortunately amphetamines, which just messed up his heart, and then like eventually he just collapsed.
Yeah.
He just couldn't take it after all. And of course he was just like this chain smoker. It was like Rod Serling was this massive smoker who admitted by his own admission bad ticker. He dies at like 44 or something. He was so young.
Jeez.
But he was also really driven, and he was just pushing himself so hard in Hollywood at the time, doing TV, and TV was just this endless maw. It was like, feed me, feed me, feed me. Today we've all got that by doing like online content. And it's like, gotta feed them all. Boom. So, about that time maybe?
I guess it is.
Well, it's been a few hours. Oh, a few lovely hours spent with you all. So I'm glad you could drop by.
Valentine's Day drinks starting next week.
Hello. We've got some good things coming up.
I know. We should do like Nick and Nora or something.
Hello.
Maybe a Nick and Nora week.
A Nick and Nora themed week is always a good place to be.
And
because
then
you can do a couple of classics and really
my
sell
birthday is coming up. Also Glendora's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
But our birthdays,
they coincide.
I know.
Largely.
Oh my God, I think we're going live on Glendora's birthday.
Hello. Well, do you think she could
Because
be...
my birthday is Tuesday, so her birthday must be Wednesdays. Maybe she'll be here for her birthday.
Maybe she'll make an appearance. Well, it'll be kind of fun.
All right, so maybe next week will be my birthday.
We'll talk.
And the week after that will be Glendora's birthday.
We'll talk to her. Maybe she can drop on by. I mean, she's a frequent guest in the old abode here.
Oh, no.
After all.
Oh, thank you, everyone. We
Yes.
love you all so much.
If you weren't here, I would be yakking at the wall.
Exactly.
So the simple fact is I'm so glad that you could join us together for a couple hours on a Wednesday. Middle of the week. I know that hump day doesn't mean anything to anybody anymore because it's all changed around. And it should. It should change around. The simple fact is we're glad to talk about various conversations. I think some people are buying an air fryer now. Well, you know what? It's a pretty good appliance. It kind of does exactly what it's supposed to.
Lisa says not to change the
People's energy.
conversation, but I've been watching Match Game with Brett Summers and Charles Nelson Riley. Oh, hi, Gwen. I'm glad I saw you,
so glad.
I could say hello.
Excellent, we could say.
Before we sign off. Yes.
Speaking of Gwen's, yes.
Oh, take care all and be
Fantastic.
excellent to each other. Oh, Dime. Thank you. Yes.
Always.
Bill and Ted. Take it from
Dudes,
Bill and Ted.
be excellent to each other.
excellent to each other. All right.
Dude, man, dude. Dust. Man, wind.
Just wind, dude.
Dude.
Anyway,
That kind of thing.
we will see you next
Speaking
week.
of Charles and Brett.
We will see. We're cooking up a little video, but I'm not sure it will be available before we see you next week. But if it is,
Yeah,
we'll have that
We'll launch it
before.
on you.
and if
Definitely.
not, we will see you next week.
Yeah. Always remember, like,
Hey!
who had the better sunglasses, Brett or Charles? I think that she had the better ones because she stole them from me. So, there you go.
Good night, everyone. Thank
Match
you.
Game is freaking hilarious. I recommend more of it. Folks, as always, it's fantastic to spend this time. We'll see you before long with some other fantastic thing. Just keep watching these socials and stuff like that. Keep shopping Amazon if you can. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. It really helps things out. And remember, it's still a rough world out there. So wherever you go and whatever you do, remember, we're always with you, and we'll see you soon.
Good night.